What's up, guys? It is Zero here, bringing you all a brand new episode of the Gears Cast. Welcome, everyone, to the Gears Cast, the best Gears of War podcast here on YouTube. And I'm super excited, guys, about this one here tonight. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody who's jumping into the chat, guys and girls out there, I'm really excited to be here with all of you for this new episode of the Gears Cast. And this is one I'm really excited about because I told you guys before, specifically in the last podcast, that I was going to have other creators coming onto the Gears Cast. I thought it was really important to hear other voices in the community and people's voices who the community cares about. Other creators, other streamers, and we're gonna evolve as we go, guys. And so this is my first Gears Cast doing this with other creators. I'm really excited about it, and I'm sure as time goes, it will evolve. With that being said, though, here's how the show works. Essentially, we have some predetermined topics we're gonna go over, and as we go through them, you guys have, with live comments and things of that nature, we will take your live comments as we go in between topics. But I'm excited about this one because I have two creators in the community who are creating consistent content and their voices are getting louder and louder, which is absolutely incredible. First and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to both of these guys. I've got Extra Father and Crisp here, and they are, of course, the first of hopefully many that come on to the Gears Cast to give their thoughts. Extra Father is a guy who has been creating content, and I'm gonna introduce these guys to all of you. So with Extra Father, I've been watching this guy's content for a number of months now, and he and I go back and forth in the live streams, and I thought no better way than to have him on this episode of the Gears Cast. Extra Father, what's up, bro?
What's good with it?
Hey, man, I am so glad, dude, that you decided to hop on the show, and I cannot wait to get deep into this thing with you, into the weeds, into the trenches. So thanks for being here, man. And we also have Crisp. Crisp, what is up, dude?
How's it going, man? I'm really, really excited to be here.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to have both of you. I think it's important, guys, because many of you who have been watching the shows, a number of you are already coming in here. Actually, Tron, what's up, dude? Kung Fu Hot Dog, what is up, brother? Thank you for the €10. Hey, Zero, I met Shadows last year, gifted him a Shure mic and mixer. It was surreal. He was cool. I also chatted online with Karen Travis, who's written Gears of War and Halo novels. She sent me cool shit. Dude, that's awesome, bro. I love how you gifted him a Shure mic and mixer. That is absolutely awesome. But I really appreciate you being here, man, for sure. I think, guys, it's really important that you hear from Extra Father and Crisp, and I want to give them the stage for a minute to be able to kind of introduce themselves. For those of you who watch me and haven't heard of, Extra Father, if you're in the Gears of War community, you should absolutely know who Extra Father is. And Crisp is another up and coming content creator within the Gears of War scene. And so it's really important that I let these guys introduce themselves. So Extra Father, I want to give you a minute here, dude, where I would love to just hear like who you are today and how you got started in Gears of War and what it is that you provide on your YouTube channel in terms of Gears of War content.
So, if you don't know me, my name is Extra Father, obviously. I've been doing Gears of War content for about 3 years, but I've been doing it consistently for maybe 2 years now. Um, I focus a lot on, conversation, discussion, feedback, um, you know, just things that come to mind when it comes to Gears of War. I've been trying to dip into other things recently, but um, It's been kind of rough for content creators out here, specifically for news and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been tough trying to make content for Years of War over the past few years, but we're managing to do it.
Well, you're still here, dude. And I mean, I know the community really appreciates the people who have been loyal to the franchise through all of the good and the bad. And you've definitely been, we've seen some just, some peaks and valleys in Gears of War. And now more than ever, it's like, oh my God, dude. Like we need content create. Like we just need content, even though there's not a lot to talk about. And so I know that a lot of people really appreciate your perspective on things and how real and because I feel the realism when you make your videos. Like I can hear the passion, and I've said this a number of times, but like I really think that that's needed in the Gears of War community. Um, Crisp, let's talk about you, dude. How did you get into Gears of War? Who are you today? And what is it that you're trying to provide on your YouTube channel in relation to Gears of War and this franchise that we all, absolutely love?
Yeah, my name's Mild Crisp. I've been into Gears of War ever since I was a child, so lifelong Gears fan. I've been getting into the lore for the past few years, so the lore wasn't interesting enough to me as a kid to get the novels. But around high school, I got a novel, and that shit fucking slapped. So I've been getting into the lore ever since. Um, it's all really cool. I'm here to feed people the Gears pill. Uh, I think I think people deserve truths, hard truths. I think people deserve to think critically about the series, even if it's something that they don't necessarily agree with. It's good to get into conversations. It's good to see things from both sides, even if you don't agree with the side that you you don't see. I think it's really good just to spark conversations and just bring the whole community together, um, so we could all hope for a better future for Gears as a series.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, dude. I love it. I love that you're, creating the content that you're creating. Like I know it's like something that's really appreciated. And I think that Gears of War E-Day is going to give many people, you guys certainly included, an opportunity to really blow up in like the Gears of War community and just like whether it's on YouTube or, live streaming, whatever it might be. I think that there is a serious opportunity coming. Even though like I'm kind of delusional with that because we have not gotten much news, which we're going to get to here in a sec. MD Ultra, what's up, bro? Sub-Zero and crew, let's grind. Yeah, dude, 100%. Actually, Tron Zero is the goat. Hello, let's grind together. Made it in time. Jack, what's up, brother? We starving, bro. TC not feeding the community. No, they are not. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I, yeah, we could go so many different ways with it, but unfortunately, they are not feeding the community anything at this point in time. And it's unfortunate. And, Extra Father and I were talking off camera, about, could Gears of War be, or I should say the Coalition and Xbox, could they be looking at Gears of War similar to the way they're looking at Call of Duty? If you think about it, guys, Call of Duty each year, and yeah, it comes out every year, whereas Gears is like once every 5 years. I mean, typically, Gears 1 through 3, I mean, those were coming out a lot quicker. But the question is like, if you look at it from the perspective of Call of Duty comes out every year, but we haven't heard anything in relation to the new Call of Duty, which is coming out this year. Now there's leaks and stuff that usually come out at some point. Like there was a leak that it was going to be Modern Warfare 4 this year, but it's been really dry on Call of Duty, like in terms of news, but more than likely they're going to show it at the showcase. And that's probably going to be the first time that they show Call of Duty. And then Call of Duty will have, at the showcase, they'll show off probably a campaign trailer. And then a month later, they'll do multiplayer, like a multiplayer reveal and, explain the other game modes that are coming with the game. And then, they'll announce a beta. And so the question is are they going to treat Gears similar to that? Like if they're looking at it from that perspective, to me, it's hard for me to believe that. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on it? I'll start with you, Extra. Like, do you think that these like Xbox is looking at Gears of War like Call of Duty in the from the standpoint of like releasing information? Like they want to keep it all locked up, nothing gets out, and then they show the first thing at the showcase. I mean, what do you think about that?
Honestly, I have no fucking clue what TC is doing. Um, I don't know if Xbox is like holding them back or what's going on over there. Because like, if you compare it to Gears 4 and Gears 5 and how they were, kind of hyped up before the release, I mean, we are probably 6 months out of the release date, and we've got nothing besides a trailer. Like, I don't know, man. It's in a weird spot, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can find something or have something provided to us in the next couple weeks. Because if if we get to the showcase and like we still don't have anything, I think it's just losing hype at this point, man, and it's kind of sad. It's really sad.
Well, there's another thing I was just thinking about when you were talking. Like, I think we all probably can agree that Gears of War E-Day is more than likely coming out like sooner than Call of Duty is. So like Call of Duty's probably, I mean, maybe they're going to release it before November, like in October, but I feel like Gears is going to come out before Call of Duty. So from to that point, it's like you probably would want to show something, especially if it's going to come out in the next, like well, let's see here. After June, July, like, if you're talking 2-3 months after the showcase, it's actually releasing. It just, yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot of time. I do believe though that we're going to hear something before the showcase. I believe that, but I don't know what it's going to be. But Chris, what do you think about that? Do you think they're trying to treat Gears of War like Call of Duty a little bit?
It's kind of hard to say, but I know a thing that's affecting them a lot is the fact that they don't have a Rod Ferguson or a Cliff Bleszinski to kind of be a spokesperson. They've done a couple of interviews, even like they've done a couple of interviews. I think they've done like 1 or 2 interviews with
Matt
with
Searcy.
E-Day. Yeah, with Matt Searcy on E-Day. And then I think even like interviews oh man, when was it? I completely forgot, but it was a couple of interviews without Rod Ferguson, and they seem to do pretty all right. But for the most part, I think it's like big on marketing. They don't have a lot of that either. You used to see stuff with like energy drinks and the esports and a whole bunch of stuff with well, not a whole bunch of stuff, but they had something with like Run the Jewels, which is a popular hip hop group, popular rap group, fucking awesome group.
Great choice.
And even with like Gears 5 with like Terminator, with Halo, like it was kind of getting up there with a whole bunch of that stuff. Whether or not you agree with that kind of stuff being in Gears, that was still branching out into a popularity that Gears hasn't really seen around the time. But with E-Day, they're not really trying that out. It seems like they're not speaking about it. They're not doing any collabs with anything. So I don't think the coalition or Microsoft really sees Gears of War as a type of Call of Duty, because I feel like if they did see it as that, they would have a lot more memorabilia or just like stuff to collect and like earn them more money on the side apart from the games themselves. It seems like I don't know, like Gears is kind of like the runt of the group. It feels like that they're kind of embarrassed for Gears. That's what it seems like to me, kind of.
Well, I don't know if they feel like they're embarrassed of Gears, but like part of me is I hear what you're saying about Cliffy B and like Rod Ferguson. I mean, it's so the studio head over there is Mike Crump, and we haven't heard anything. Now, I think there's pros and cons to that. Like part of me looks at it like Cliffy B and Rod Ferguson, yeah, they were constantly out there like talking about the games and stuff like that. And I think that was definitely good. It was cool seeing like Cliffy B go out there like with like a Lancer and stuff like on stage at E3. Like all that stuff was really cool. But part of me thinks about it from the perspective that it's almost a little distracting. Like it creates a microscope from the community looks at them and like kind of judges so many different things based on like whatever they're saying. Like Rod Ferguson is like famous for saying that he sat down with for an interview, and he said how the plan was that there was going to be, after Gears 5 came out, or it was right after it came out, he talked about there was going to be a Gear 6 and a Gear 7 and a Gears of War movie. And like, he was kind of promising these things to the community, but it's now it came back to bite him because we've never seen a Gear 6, obviously never saw a Gear 7. Gears of War movie's been in development hell. So like some of it, I'm like, I don't want a face of a franchise or of a studio to promise me a bunch of things and they don't deliver on it, because then it builds false confidence. Like you start thinking to yourself like, well, are they being honest or not? Like think of the state that Xbox is in right now. Like they've had issues with being truthful for a while now. And all the issues that are going on behind the scenes. I'm not saying that you're like Mike Crump. He's very behind, like to an extent, like he's almost too quiet, but like Cliffy B, it's not that Jack Fernley, what's up, bro? He said, no idea why they don't sign Cliffy B on as a consultant. Here's my thing, dude. And I would love to pick your guys' brains about this. I feel like Rod, as well as Cliffy B, they played pivotal roles in Gears of War. I mean, Cliffy B, started it. I mean, everything started with this guy. And Rod Ferguson, he's responsible for really helping bring it back. But like, can we all be real? Like, the direction both directors were going in at the end of their tenure was not good. Like, I love these guys with all my heart because they created, I believe, one of the greatest franchises ever. But like, we saw the end of Cliffy B with Judgment. Like people forget, like, I mean, yeah, he had amazing successes, incredible, but we also had Judgment. And the same thing with like Rod Ferguson, he brings this thing back, but then you got Ultimate Edition, then we had, Gears of War 4, which awesome. I mean, Ultimate Edition was a safe bet for the Coalition. I don't blame them for doing it. I think it was a good idea and I liked it. And I was very happy that Gears was back. But then you got Gears of War 4, which I thought was like the best thing that the Coalition's done. So it's like, okay, we're getting these like peaks, but then we took a massive step in the wrong direction with Gears 5. And so it's like, what would have happened if Rod was still here? Like, guys, like, think about this. If Rod was still with the Coalition, we would not have Gears of War E-Day. Like, I promise you, it would not have happened. Like, we would have got Gear 6, and I think the franchise would be on the verge of death. Like, and obviously maybe they had some cool concepts for Gear 6, but we saw the writing on the wall. They were going to have a full open world. Like they were removing the identity of Gears of War by, first of all, removing the name from Gears of War to Gears. We start losing our identity. And then you go the semi-open world, then you want to do a full open world. And then they're trying to, the microtransactions, are we Call of Duty? Are we Fortnite? Or are we fucking Gears? So to me, it was almost, Extra Father, you know how you and we've talked about like how you stay too long, you overstay your welcome. Like, I really feel that it was time to move on from Cliffy B, and maybe he deserved another chance. I don't know, like maybe, but he was talking about Locust, like with wings. He had all these different ideas that like some of them were interesting, but then I was like, some of it, Gears of War in space, like I'm not saying they're bad ideas because some of it is canon or it's like, in the books and stuff like this. But I'm just saying that I don't know if the vision of what it should be would have like their vision for it would have matched player expectation. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Like, do you guys think that if we had Rod and Cliffy B, like we would be in a better place right now, the same place, worse place? Like, because we're here, I mean, partially because of Rod Ferguson, right? So, like, I'm just wondering, like, what do you think, Extra?
Well, here's the thing. I think if Rod would have taken a step back and let somebody else like direct the franchise and him not have like a big part in like creating the game, um, I think Rod being the face of Gears was a huge like win for the community because he was always doing interviews. He was always, trying to showcase what he knew about the franchise, always asking questions, always answering questions. And I really feel like the more and more that somebody is out in public for the community and for the game, that only helps the game. I mean, there's no negative part to that unless you're doing what what's his name did for Splitgate 2. Yeah, then,
Oh
then
yeah,
maybe don't
yeah,
do that.
right.
But like the more publicity you have is only going to help the game. There's no reason for there to be no publication or like who this person is, what we're doing with the game. Like just talk about the game. I mean that'll help the community. That'll help the visibility. That'll help content creators like have so many ideas for new videos. I mean there are so many content creators that want to do content for Gears. Like there's so many, but there's just nothing. There's absolutely nothing to work with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, here's my question. Like, if Rod Ferguson was still here, right?
We
Like,
wouldn't have E-Day.
we wouldn't have E-Day, but do you think it would be better for the franchise that he's here or not here? You know, because it's a two-edged sword, right? It's like, well,
Right.
that's my thing. It's like, I just, would I rather have Rod Ferguson or get E-Day? Like, would I rather have Rod Ferguson in Gear 6 or Mike Crump and E-Day? Like, you know what I'm saying? I would rather take the gamble, even though we've only seen a little bit of E-Day. Like, we've barely seen it. We've seen a cinematic trailer, but I just, that direction, I'm like, dude, we wouldn't have gone this way with Rod. I don't know. Hey, Chris, what do you think about this?
So, I think that like yeah, Cliffy B was kind of like, well, technically since it's his own creation, his own baby, saying that he's like losing the plot is kind of like kind of like weird to say. But like me personally, I can't really see like drones with wings and stuff like that, or like gears in space. But depending on how he would have made it, I feel like I would have still ate it up, no matter what. But I think it's pretty. It's not no matter how you feel about Gears Judgment was not a Cliffy B directed game. Cliffy B handed it off to People Can Fly. And People Can Fly, they have like their own studio, own different director and stuff like that. And even then, Judgment personally, and even looking back on it now, a lot of people think that it wasn't a bad game. It was just very different. And People Can Fly, that wasn't their first stint with Gears. Like they've been helping the development of Gears since Gears was supported back onto Windows. And if you want to say Judgment is like a bad game or a bad game like to look back on or something like that, a really low point in Gears, but you're hyped for E-Day, that's not necessarily a fair like point on Judgment because oh geez, I don't know what that was. Because People Can Fly is coming back to help co-develop E-Day. So if you think People Can Fly was really an issue with Judgment, then you should be worried for E-Day. And who knows? What if we're just getting another Gears 5 with E-Day? Truthfully, there's not any way to know just because we have no information. Another thing is I hear a lot of people say like, it's okay that we're not getting a lot of information because like Rockstar does it with GTA. How come and supposedly it's bad with Gears, but what arguments like that seem to forget is GTA is so popular that when you look up Grand Theft Auto, you literally get the game before the crime that it derives from. That's how popular GTA is. Well, one of the most successful video game franchises in history. Gears of War, it did it paved the way for a lot of game stuff. But if you look up GAO into Google, you're gonna get God of War. If you look up Gears of War, depending on the search engine, you just gotta scroll down a little bit and you'll still find God of War. I'm glad now on Discord I could type in Gears of War, get a lot more Gears of War stuff because I use them. They're funny. But yeah, like Gears is popular. We love Gears, but if you think about it, Gears is that game, not that I had when I was a kid. It's the game that, oh, my cousin had it, my dad had it. So I feel like, yeah. So it's like I feel like we need to keep the hype, and kind of like understand what makes these games without trying to like reach and blame other things that we don't really understand or know like in depth. I feel like we need I don't know. I feel like we just need like a steady stream of just like information about the game to like fully grasp what we're gonna get with E-Day. Whether it be
there's literally nothing that can hurt E-Day right now, as far as TC telling us anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
It only helps.
Right.
They could tell me that E-Day is just gonna be like a Fallout clone. I'll be like, at least it's information. At least it's information.
At least it's a video to talk about.
Yeah. No,
I'm getting more than the trailer. Like, oh, I'm hype.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, dude, here's the reality. The thing is that Judgment, like, you know, the reason why I talk down on Judgment is because it came off of the greatest like trilogy, in my opinion, of all time. And so I feel like, and it's not even just that, like, it's a Gears of War game. I'm saying I love Gears of War as a whole. So there were things I loved about Judgment. I mean, I liked some of the ideas that they had, but the facts are the facts. And one of the facts is that Gears of War Judgment led us into the dark ages of Gears of War. Because if we're all being honest with each other, Gears of War Judgment, when that game came out, like years go by and we're wondering, is Gears of War ever coming back? And so the coalition is formed, and you know, obviously, like it was a massive ordeal for us as a franchise. But that moment in time, it led us into a very dark time. And you could argue right now, from Gears 5 to E-Day, before E-Day was announced, it was like, dude, this felt like maybe a second dark age. And so what I'm saying is like, I agree with you. Yeah, people can fly. Obviously they're helping out the coalition, but I also think that part of the reason why they're there helping is because they've done another Gears of War title. But on the flip side, the coalition is helping out Undead Labs with State of Decay 3. So there's other companies that are helping each other, but the coalition is working on a number of projects. They aren't just doing Gears. See, like some of these studios at Xbox or Xbox Game Studios, they work with one another. Obsidian Games, right? They're the ones who did Grounded and The Outer Worlds. They are also helping Undead Labs with State of Decay 3. So these studios, some of them just like help one another, or like, you know, maybe a game's like in a really rough spot. So, they'll pull studios or pull resources from other places to get things done. So I think I do believe that like people can fly. They're there for like reinforcements. I don't think that they're the ones that are going to be like, they're not really going to be like necessarily the storytellers of E-Day. They're here as like reinforcements to help the coalition, who also are helping with other projects too. So, and it really shouldn't be like that where, you know, and that's an Xbox issue. These studios should just be focused on their one thing. Because if you focus on your one thing and only your one thing, I think you become a master of it. Like, and so when you're starting to stretch yourself like a little bit like that, you start stretching yourself a little bit thin. So honestly, like I'm with you that like Judgment, it might maybe some of the hate for it is like it's not right. Like like people shouldn't, be bashing it so much. But like I think that the reality is it's not even so much the game, it's what the game caused in terms of the ripple effect after that gave so many of us like a bad taste in our mouth, like, or worry that the franchise was done. So that I think that's kind of like where I'm at with it. Like it's not that Judgment was I mean, like in terms of like just games in general, Judgment, I look at it and I say to myself, it was I liked it as a game, but there were many things apart about it that I did not like. I didn't like that the campaign felt like you were playing horde mode. I just didn't like that, and the different like certain button variations and things of that nature were interesting concepts, but like it just didn't work. And this I've said this about Gears 5, like with the semi-open world. It's like, I mean, it's a valiant effort. Like, okay, like, they tried something new. I'm down for them trying different things, but like keep it to like the root of what Gears is. I mean, I just felt like they went away from that so much with Gears 5. And so anyways, I mean, I have little like pet peeves about some of these different games. We're going to get to Reloaded here in a little bit, but do you guys have anything else to add on that before we move on?
Yeah. So I think that blaming Judgment for kind of like a dark age of Gears it's kind of like I don't know like the right idiom for it, but that's kind of like targeting something else because they already mentioned that after Judgment, that's kind of like their last like final hoorah, and then like they're done with the series. They've already mentioned that up to that point. So it wasn't necessarily Judgment made people fear for the end of Gears. It's that people were kind of disappointed, like, wow, this is how they chose to send off the series. Um, and Gears Judgment, if I remember correctly, came out 2013, and or not E-Day, Ultimate Edition came out 2015. So that's only a 2-year wait. And honestly, a 2-year wait for your series to come back with a remaster after you were told it was done for, that's not so long of a wait. Because like Gears of War 1, 2006, Gears of War 2, 2008, and then from 2008 to Gears of War 3, which is 2011, like those, that's just like a average like wait for the next game. So it's not necessarily that Judgment was so god awful that people feared for the end of the series. It's that they said it was the end of the series, and people were kind of upset that the last game in the franchise was so different. I think difference is what needs to push Gears forward. And we can touch on this a little bit later when we bring up Reloaded. But Reloaded, the reason that was kind of like looked down upon was because there was no different. Like it still felt like the game from 2015. That felt like the game from 2006. But I think pushing the series forward, Gears 5, I think they did pretty like mid job at the open world section. They could have done a lot better. If that open world section was a lot better, there would be no qualms with those open world sections, honestly.
I agree with
If
that.
if they like looked nicer, had a bit more content, if they were a bit shorter, I'm sure people wouldn't have any issues with that. Like Gears Tactics, that's a completely a different step in a different direction. But everybody who's played Tactics, from my knowledge at least, enjoyed Tactics. The only reason that was so weird for the franchise is because not only is Gears right now after Gears 5 kind of making Gears a niche out of conversation game, but tactical RPGs also aren't all the rage 100% of the time. Usually it's kind of like fighting games, where like a fighting game comes out, gets spoken for a little bit, and then kind of like goes under the radar again. Tactical RPGs, those aren't really everybody's jam. Those kind of come out, if it does really big, that's like a success. And if it's just like kind of middle of the road or even like decent, it's spoken about in kind of like a cult following thing. Um, so it's not like Gears was ever gonna go into like a full on tactical RPG route. I think it's more so gonna go into more of an open world route. Uh, like even though Gears ED I think is like gonna be linear, from what I've heard about it and what they've said. Um,
Well, let's
but
well hold on. So like Chunky Boy said, Chunky Boy, what's up, dude? He says, so if they tell the community that E-Day is completely open world, you won't be mad. So at least for me, I don't want an open world Gears of War E-Day. Do you guys want an open world Gears of War E-Day?
Honestly,
go on,
you go ahead. You go
because I
ahead.
got a long opinion about this.
What, you want me to go first?
Yeah, I got a long opinion about this.
Okay. So I think, I mean, it's already confirmed that it's a linear story, but
Right.
if they did say that it was going to be open world, I would be kind of hesitant, but also kind of not, because there's so much about E-Day to discover. Like, there is so much there. I mean, they could do whatever they wanted, and as long as it's, to the point, there's plenty of things to do, not filler like fucking, the new Assassin's Creed games. But I mean, if they could do something that was engaging and horror-esque and something that reminds us of the original trilogy, I think they could do something really cool with that idea. But with Gears 5, man, there was just nothing to do in the open world besides like the main quests and finding Jack's components that were just so fun to look for. But
I mean,
yeah,
do
I
you
mean, it's already confirmed
like
it's linear.
would it be? Do you think that if there was more to do, do you think you would have enjoyed the semi open world in Gears 5 if there was more to do? And we're not
For
taking
sure.
okay,
For
perfect,
sure.
yeah,
I mean, it felt empty for most of it.
yeah.
So
But did it feel like Gears to you?
no,
Okay.
not really.
No, it didn't. So that's
Well,
that's
well,
kind of what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that.
mostly because we're not playing as Marcus or JD.
Yeah,
We're
no,
playing as Kate.
I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. But like you guys. Okay, well, let's get to Crisp here. Let's. What are your thoughts on this? Like, if it was a full open world game and they announced it, how would you feel about that for E-Day?
Honestly, if all the tone fits good, I think people already enjoy the tone of the trailer, and if the rest of the game fits that tone, I think honestly that would be awesome. The aspect of Gears 5 where you can kind of move forward and then stumble upon kind of like a swarm camp and then like move around it your own way. I think that kind of stuff is really cool. So imagine getting into an area, opening a door, and then like being in like a corridor with a whole bunch of locusts that you could either run into guns blazing or like sneak around and fucking throw grenades like throughout the sides and like shoot them from angles and stuff. Um, Stuff like that always sounded really cool to me. And like you could also say the same thing about like multiplayer. Like some people want like a whole conquest game mode with like vehicles and stuff like that, but that's not Gears of War either. Gears of War was always about chainsaw in the chest, curb stomping opponents. So where does a tank with explosives fit into all of that? So I think if people are willing to bring vehicles into Gears of War multiplayer, when that goes completely against the the aspect of Gears of War that people love, I think people should also be open to different types of story gameplay. I honestly think that if it's done proper, an open world Gears of War game would be enjoyable. Especially if the gunfights were still secluded to small areas. I've been playing through Resident Evil Requiem lately, and how
Oh, I
how
can't wait.
how it's
I
doing it
can't wait for that.
with Leon is like you have this like giant area, and then like you'll fit this puzzle piece, or you'll like open this door, and the second you open that door, it's dark, it's moody, um, it's like you can go into different rooms, zombies will come out and like attack you while you're making your way through the corridor. And at the end of the day, you exit that, go back to base camp, and get your shit, and then go back to another area. And each of those areas lasts like what, like 30 minutes, sometimes 40, especially if you got to go back and forth, back and forth. So those are long, lengthy areas of the game. So even though it's not like super open world, like you're not going from like one end of Raccoon City to the other just by like walking or whatever, you have these giant areas that you could explore, and the small corridors that bring enough tension to the world. And that's like immediately what I think of. I think that would be insanely cool. Gears of War already has you walking from area to area just with cutscenes in between them. So imagine you do it without forcing a cutscene down your throat, or forcing press A on this door, wait for your teammate to come press A on the door, and then open it up for a not so subtle loading screen. Like I think we pretty much have what we'd expect in an open world Gears game. We just have the limitations of the 360 to kind of sit there for it.
I've got an interesting
Good
question.
point.
I've got an interesting question for you guys. In 2026, Gears of War E-Day, like even with a linear experience, but I kind of want to look at it from both linear versus full open world experience. How important is the campaign to the success of Gears of War E-Day? Do you think it is significant? Do you think it's like, it's just, it's a feature? A lot of people are going to be coming back to the multiplayer, obviously, or to the co-op modes. How important is the campaign, like in your guys' opinion? Because at least for me, I think that I love the campaign. I think that the campaign, especially 1 through 3, and then even things of Gears of War 4, I enjoyed. But like, what do you guys think about just campaigns specifically for Gears of War and the actual success of the game, or does it have any bearing on that whatsoever? What do you think, Extra?
So here's what I think. I think E-Day's campaign is the most important part of this game, because whoever plays Gears of War, like if you could see all the people from PlayStation that played the game, all of them played the campaign from Reloaded. Every single one of them. And it's so important because Gears 4 was kind of okay. Gears 5 was bad. I mean, there's so much talk about the campaigns on Gears 4 and Gears 5. Like, it's the most important part of it because it explains E-Day, and there's going to be so much talk and hype about that specific time and the timeline. Um, there is so much potential in the campaign for different areas, different characters, callbacks. There is so much potential in the campaign alone. I mean, if the campaign is fantastic and the multiplayer sucks, we're still going to look forward to the next game. So, like, the campaign is very, very, very important in the E-Day.
Yeah. What do you think, Crisp?
The way I see it, Gears of War is split into thirds. It's the people who enjoy campaign, the people who enjoy multiplayer, and the people who enjoy horde. Those aren't all exclusive either, because people who enjoy campaign probably only play the campaign and then go to horde because they don't like multiplayer all too much, or maybe like the people who play horde also go to multiplayer because they don't really care for the campaign and stuff like that. So they're not like specific categories that people have to fit in, but that's usually like the way I see it. And if you look at something for like Judgment, even like there was no horde, there was survival, which isn't horde, but I still enjoy survival. But since it wasn't horde, that's already like a whole bunch of the horde players gone. You can look up on old forums, people on GameFAQs being like, all right, no horde, I'm not playing this anymore. And then like the what you call it, the people who like see stuff in the multiplayer, they're like, oh, this is out of multiplayer, all right, this isn't my game. So I think people fall into those categories. I think for E-Day more so, you're probably gonna have a bit more people leaning into the story than anything else. Um, because it is Gears E-Day. But I think uh for the most part, it's still gonna follow. One third are there for story, one third are there for multiplayer, one third are there for horde. I think that's kind of how it separates into all of them.
That's interesting. You guys both think it's really that, like, I mean, you think it's that important. So okay. Since you guys think that it's that important, which I do too, I think it's very important too. I love this. I didn't think you guys were going to say this. So if that's what, if that's going to be the one of the most popular like features of Gears of War E-Day, would E-Day benefit more from an open world or a linear experience? And we already know it's linear, but I'm just asking you guys, because as we break these things down, it's like, okay, if we had an open world Gears of War E-Day, what would that do to, like, what ramifications could we have from that, positive, negative, or whatever, versus linear, which we know we're getting? Because okay, I'll tell you guys what I think. I think since we're doing the dark linear experience, which is what we believe, I mean, we haven't seen anything else, but from at least everything we've seen so far, which was a cinematic trailer, it looks like it's going to be very dark, very gritty. There's going to be some, I mean, it's kind of hitting all the notes that we want out of certainly a trailer. If they do that in a linear dark horror experience, which is what Gears of War was built on, I think that it's putting us in the best position to be very successful, especially if it comes to PlayStation, which I think we all believe it will. But would it have that? I would say that if the campaign is the most important thing in its open world, I think it would suffer, like the franchise would suffer significantly. I just believe that. I don't think that an open world, especially a lot of people coming into Gears for the very first time from PlayStation who didn't play Reloaded, or even if they did, and they start playing E-Day and it's open world, I don't think it's going to register, just be like, for a number of reasons. But the first is, well, Gears 5 was like, it just, the campaign was not good, like really at all. Even, I mean, you could even go down to the script, the writing, all of that stuff. Like it goes down, there's layers upon layers of the campaign that in Gears 5, where it was like, this is just isn't, it just doesn't feel like Gears. But do you guys think that, do you think that since you have so much stock in the campaign, do you feel that we're in a position to succeed from a campaign perspective the way we're going right now with the linear experience? Or do you think we would be better off or worse off with or like I should say a full open world? What do you think, Crisp?
I think because it's Gears of War E-Day, it is going to take place over multiple days. I don't know if it's going to take place over like multiple months or weeks, but I know for a fact days. That
Yeah, that's what we know right now.
yeah, like think about it. It's E-Day. This is destruction, millions dead, only a small percentage of the human population left alive. Do you really think there's gonna be a setting for horror, or do you think it's gonna be a setting for destruction and grittiness? Because I think the first game did a pretty good job at balancing the two because it was linear. So you had the little areas, little corridors with like wretches and shit like that coming out of nowhere, crawling on the walls, crawling on the ceiling, stuff like that. But with E-Day, it's so destructive in your face. Like, what, you're gonna walk into a corridor and be horrified on the inside while you hear everything happening on the outside? I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think if the entire game is gonna be taking it across a span of multiple days, where it's like nothing but destruction, I think open world would be the best, almost, if they can pull it off. If they could pull it off, open world would be awesome. Like reavers flying all around, corpsers coming out of the ground and stuff like that. We've kind of had moments like that in Gears 2. Like you can't tell me when you were playing Gears 2, and you were driving around Betty and seeing the corpses pulling all the other, what are they, armadillos? Armadillos into the ground and stuff like that, and Reavers flying across the sky. You can't tell me you didn't want to be a part of that action. You cannot tell me you didn't want to be part of that action. And when you're flying the Reaver at the end of the game, you can't tell me you didn't want to go destroy some more shit instead of just fighting even more Reavers in the sky. Like, I think Gears of War has the all the assets there to be an amazing open world experience if they can pull it off. But the reason people are against open world is because they think of Ubisoft open world. They think that Anya is going to call Marcus over the walkie, be like, Marcus, we need to pick up these cog coins. If you collect 10 of them, you'll get an upgrade on your chainsaw. That's probably like that's like the lamest version of that. I think like I said, with Gears of War 5, with like the little camps of Swarm, like being able to go in on them any way you want. Can you imagine, like, there's like a two-way battle happening, just like in Gears 2 in the Hollow. There are two-way battles happening, and you could drive into it or peer into it or move into it your own way to help your cog gears like win that fight. You can walk into smaller corridors around that area and have your own little classic Gears of War section, because you're kind of outside of the open fight and into your own little personal fight. I think you can merge these two without having any exclusive one.
You could, I mean, you could be right, but like the only thing to me, you're like, it's interesting, dude. You're very positive on the whole full open world scenario. And I'm not saying that it's like, I think it's important that, I think when it comes to the full open world, if you do it right, well, yeah, I mean, sure. Like, it could be interesting, right? It's an interesting concept, but what we saw in Gears 5, like, it was not so like you really want, I would not want them taking the chance on doing that with E-Day, because they didn't knock it out of the park in Gears 5. So the track record is not good. So like I'm totally disagree with you that E-Day would be better off as a full open world. Like, I don't believe that, because the Coalition has shown me, they have not shown me that they can do it. They didn't do it with a semi-open world. So how are they going to do it? How are they going to do it with a full open world? You know,
I could understand that. But then again, Gears of War 5 campaign isn't the greatest, but people claim Hive Busters is great, and they're both under the Coalition, both inside of Gears 5. I think not only can you get a different team to do it, which they are, I'm pretty sure they are getting a different team, even if slightly. But you also got to remember, like learning from past mistakes. Like we know, like as we see right now, the Coalition isn't really like the greatest for that. But then the question was, like whether we could see it or whether the Coalition is capable. I think those are two separate questions. And even so, I think I would still give the Coalition a second chance. Like, personally, I would. Because like I definitely would. Especially if they're...
But okay, hold on. Why would you give them a second chance on the full open world? That's almost like saying, like, you would be like, that's almost like saying, oh, I would rather them just do Gear 6 and what they were planning on doing there with the full open world than doing E-Day. You know what I'm saying?
Like why would you want another Coalition Gears game if you didn't really care for Ultimate Edition, 4, 5, Tactics, or Gears Pop? Like you can give them multiple chances.
I think a lot of people, like, I mean, like I said, I think Gears of War Ultimate Edition was a safe bet, you know, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it was great to have to have Gears back. And Gears of War 4, I think, was the best of the Coalition era. And then Gears 5, yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, dude, honestly, if we had the same track record as we had with Epic Games had, you know, the greatest trilogy ever, and then they had Judgment, and we moved, like, that was the end of their tenure, and everything, you know, Gears of War moved on from Epic Games. if you said that the first game that the Coalition fumbled, they would be out and it'd be a new studio taking over, well, we would already be having that because Gears 5 was technically like Epic Games' Judgment. Like, you know what I'm saying? In terms of like reception and all that stuff. So, yeah, I agree. We have to give the Coalition a second chance when it comes to making another like making a good Gears of War game. I think that we're in the right we're moving in the right direction. I just don't know if like the whole yeah, it's just it's tough, bro, because I see what you're saying, but like I just disagree that like the open world would actually elevate E-Day like by the Coalition specifically because of their track record with Gears 5. And so
Like I can see that, but in Gears 5 they also didn't have super expressive, amazing to traverse linear sections. So by that same logic, you could say that like you're worried about their linear sections because you saw how they did it in Gears of War 5, and I guess technically the lack thereof uh in tactics. Um I think like because you see how gritty they're going. You see how accurate they are with the game by putting the retro lancer. Like at the end of the day, this is all speculative. Um, but you see how nasty the drone looks. You see how helpless Marcus looks. You see the retro lancer. You see the grittiness. You see how dark it is. You see like the Locust as they should be in the trailer. Which means at least for the small amount of information that we have, I wouldn't mind putting some faith into the Coalition. It seems like they are learning what they don't want to do, which is another Gears 5, and going back to what people want, which is Gears of War 1, or at least like Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2 type style, which is also a reason I think they released Reloaded. Because people love Gears of War 1 so much, let's just do it again. Like, so I think from all the information that we have, I feel like I would not like I probably would put a bet. Like if there were to be like a case of like let's say for hypothetical Gears of War E-Day is going to be open world. Would you put money on it being good or bad? I would put money on it being pretty decent, pretty good. Not even like I'd put like $20 on it. Not even no hesitation. $30, maybe not. But $20, I would put money in on it.
I would like, dude, I would want to put money on it. I don't buy it though. Like I wouldn't, I would be I don't know, dude. I'd be concerned. I mean, Extra, what do you think about this?
Well, here's the thing. If they did something like there's great linear sections and then the campaign kind of opens up, not like clearly open world, but like little sections that are kind of, vastly larger than these other linear sections, I think it would benefit really, really well from that. But I think if it went like full open world, I don't know, man. Like driving on a skiff, driving on a skiff was, oh, that was not great. But I think if they just did a smaller kind of open world, kind of strict, not necessarily like, you know, large, vast areas, but if they stick to something strict, semi-open world, I think it would really benefit, especially coming from E-Day, because there's like so much destruction, like Crisp said, there's so much shit happening on the whole planet. So like, just I think it could benefit, but I don't know.
Well,
I don't
so
know.
are you glad that they're doing linear though for this?
I am.
Yeah, same. I am too. I mean, I'm glad that they're going this direction. Because yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's some cool talking points, but along those same lines, we had the whole 20v20 thing. I want to get to this, but Gear Luigi, what's up, bro? Hi guys, what do you think about this aspect of multiplayer? In your opinion, will it be 4v4 or 5v5? I hope for the 5v5. What do you prefer, and what do you think it will actually be? It's a good question, bro. I mean, Well, let's talk about these like larger uh maybe larger maps or like a 20v20. I know Extra you've talked about this. I've been very hesitant. I've been a little bit concerned about it. I'm trying to kind of wrap my head around it, like the way it would look. One of the things I mentioned last Gears cast was imagine like you did um like 20v20. The thing that's tough for me about it, or like those large scale maps, is like, do you get to a point where it's like your Battlefield or your Call of Duty or something? I think you could. The more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, maybe they could do it in a Gears of War way, where it feels right. It's hard to envision, just based on the number of coalition games we've gotten from, in terms of Gears of War. But the other thing I wanted to mention was something I had mentioned in the last Gears cast, was this idea of kind of like a battle royale, but where you have a massive, like you have the map ends up caving in into a big emergence hole. And so instead of having a storm, you have an emergence hole. And something kind of like creative like that. I'd be interested in seeing like modes like that where it's a little bit like unique or different. So like a 20v20, I'd be interested to see them. I don't know if I would want it at launch, but have it like as a, I don't know if they're going to do with some kind of seasonal system or like a Gears miss. You have some kind of like different modes that they try out. I'd be totally down with something like that. But I've just like, from even just the trailer we got from E-Day, there was a number of really cool things in the trailer that could get implemented in Gears of War E-Day. For example, you see Marcus grab the TV, so we might have like throwable objects. He smashes the TV against the Locust, and then he does this slide to get his Lancer off of the ground. So could you have a slide movement mechanic?
Don't do that, TC. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, I'm just
TC, do it.
Don't do that, TC.
I'm just saying, like, you see, they're giving us, I feel like they're giving us clues. Destructible cover, could that be something? That would be an interesting concept. Or emergence holes are like appearing on the map live. So people who are camping and shit like that, like maybe their cover starts going into an emergence hole. I mean, there's so many ideas that are like just in my brain of where they could go with it. Maybe they would do something a little bit more like, say like in horde mode, the emergence holes bring down like part of the map. Like, having like like I was thinking about this, where could they take the whole emergence holes and stuff to another level in this one in E-Day? And so there's a lot of ideas that are running around in my brain, but I don't know. Like, I think that there was clues they gave us in that trailer, and I don't know if they're going to execute on those or if they're, whatever. I have no idea. But what would you guys think about I know Extra, I know you like the 20v20 a concept. Do you feel like it should be something that is at launch? Do you think that it should be like something that's added later, or like what's your vision for that? Like a ground war in Call of Duty, or like what are your thoughts on it?
So something that really helped Gears 5 was waiting to put in free for all and all these other modes like what was it called, Gridiron at the time, which is called Capture the Flag now. Um, I think implementing things over time really helps with the longevity of the game. So I wouldn't like a 20v20 right out of the gate. I'd like people to get a grasp of the multiplayer, how the movement works, how the game works, how the weapon mechanics work, where weapons are on the map, before they start adding anything like that. Like, but the thing about the 20v20 is that um, it would have to be kind of not very large maps, because you still want that kind of Gears tight, gritty gameplay. Um, but it would have to be something like Battlefront 2 in a way, um, but with no vehicles. I really don't think that vehicles need to be in the game. Besides, like maybe if one side is scoring so many points, like they kind of did in Battlefield 1, where a train comes in. Instead of a train, it's like a fucking Brumach or a Raven or something like that to help like kind of even the fight. I think that'd be really interesting. But
Oh wait,
I think
are
if
you thinking about PvE a little bit?
a little bit, maybe like a 10v10 with 10 bots on each side, like something like that, like where there's wretches on the map, there's cog gears on the map, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting concept. What do you think about it, Crisp?
Um, I think as Gears of War stands now in terms of multiplayer, I think if for one, I think we need a massive update on what the Gears of War combat is. I think like you said, destruction of the terrain and stuff like that. That's a really good step in the right direction. But it's also going to need to be complemented by movement. So
Mhm.
although a slide seems very out of place for Gears, um, whenever you see it in the cinematic, you kind of grin and be like, "That's my guy, that's my guy." Well, whenever you see in Gears of War 3, fucking the bots do like the back roll over cover, you again look at Baird, that's my guy. So having more movement mechanics or having destroyable terrain, like you said, I think a lot of that stuff will really help modernize the game. Will it make it feel less like Gears? Yeah. Um, but
It
you
kind
know,
of needs
like
to happen.
yeah, it needs to happen. Needs to. Doing like a little For Honor thing with chainsaw duels, that'll be a little bit too far. But I would be lying if I said I wouldn't be hyped for that just because I love chainsaw duels.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
really, really quick. Do you think that the, do you think it'll be too fast? Like say you have the slide
No.
mechanic, wall bouncing, all that stuff. Do you think that like because we saw like different games out there that like over the years just have gotten faster and faster and faster in terms of multiplayer, and not that like it's necessarily like a terrible thing for certain games, but do you guys think do you think that Gears of War E-Day with slide mechanics and who knows what other mechanics, do you think it would end up being too fast?
I don't think it'd be end up being too fast. I think it'd be too versatile. Because even if you look at Gears of War 5, that's arguably one of the fastest games in the series.
Right.
One of the fastest games in the series. Um, and even then, the only way to break into Mach speed is wall bounce. Other than that, like jumping up on top of like some cover or jumping over cover, stuff like that is still relatively fast, but it's still pretty slow compared to like bouncing or moving around it or something like that. Um,
Yeah, before
so
they
I
adjusted it in Operation 8, it was super fucking fast.
mhm,
Super fast.
Yeah, it
yeah.
was.
So I think stuff like that will be slow. And it'll definitely be like a workaround. Like, oh my god, I'm so used to just like roll, wall bounce, and running forward. I'm so used to that. Now they're adding a slide or like a crouch mechanic, whatever the fuck they want to add. I don't know. Fucking ninja wall running. Oh no, he's wall running to me. Now what? Um, but like I think for a 20v20, you have to upgrade these mechanics because like why have a larger than life game mode that's solely boots on the ground 2006? Like you need to upgrade it.
Yeah, I agree with that. They definitely need to make upgrades in the movement. Not as far as like the smoothness of it, but it just needs to play uh trying to find a word for it.
Oh yeah, wait.
Uh
I'm sorry to cut you off. I forgot. Gear Luigi just typed in the chat. Completely forgot to answer his question. Will E Day be 4v4 or 5v5, and which one would we
oh
prefer?
shit.
We
Yeah,
completely
well,
forgot that. I'm sorry.
no, we're gonna get to what were you saying extra? We'll get to that. Hey, give us one sec, Gear, Luigi.
Well, fuck, now I forget what I was saying.
Okay, so Luigi, we're back
Oh,
to
the
we're back to
movement.
you, bro.
Uh
The movement,
the
yes.
movement needs to be um strict but not so strict. Like the reason why Gears of War 3 was so popular with the multiplayer was because one, the weapons. All the weapons did damage, and there was no one particular weapon that overpowered everything. Everything was kind of balanced. everyone says that, that it was a Nasher fest. It's like, yeah, but if everyone pulled out a Lancer, nobody's Nashering. But like it just needs to it just needs to broaden the multiplayer. It needs to do something else besides 4v4 or 5v5. It needs to be something different. It needs to be something that we haven't seen before, something that catches new players, something that catches old players, but still feels like Gears.
So I think, at least for me, so Luigi, getting to your point, man, like I it's interesting. I'm kind of neutral on this one. 4v4, 5v5. I kind like I've enjoyed both of them. Like I just have. Even from like I'm big into Gears esports. I love Gears. I'm even wearing the Gears esports shirt right now, guys. When I went to Columbus, Ohio for the Columbus Open for the Gears Pro Circuit, that shit was absolutely lit. Anybody in the chat right now who like, I need to see answers quickly. Who won the Gears of War Pro Circuit Columbus Open in Gears of War 4? If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But I don't know. Like I've liked both modes. I just do. And personally, like honestly, guys, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this as well. Is not only the 4v4, 5v5, but like, what was your favorite new mode that the Coalition introduced to the franchise? Like
Escalation.
Oh, my man. Fucking love it, dude. Escalation was the best game mode. Bro, Escalation was absolutely incredible, dude. Oh my God, bro. I love Escalation. I kind of wish in the esports scene, they kind of rotated back and forth between Execution and Escalation. They did this for a couple of events, but like those two game modes, incredible. But Escalation was absolutely awesome.
I don't know why they changed it in Gears 5. They had such a good thing with Gears 4.
Oh, dude, I don't even get me started, bro.
And also, very, very simple game mode that I actually really liked was Dodgeball. I love
awesome.
Dodgeball.
It's so fun.
Dude, it was awesome. It was really fun. Yeah, for sure.
A lot of clutch moments.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some. There's been a couple of modes that I've really, really enjoyed, and I am hoping that with E-Day we get some new modes. That's for sure. But what do you think, Crisp, in terms of 4v4, 5v5?
4v4, I think it feels a bit awkward, mainly because Gears of War, it's like a 3-lane. Each map is practically 3 lanes. So I think 4v4 feels a bit awkward since it's like just like 1v1s until like one side gets like a 2v2 because 2 people are probably gonna go that side or something. I think 5v5 makes it feel a lot more full. So it's like 2v2, 1v1, 2v2 down like all the lanes. And then like intermingling in the middle or like staying on one of the sides. It feels like a lot more of like a full game. So I would prefer it to be 5v5, but if it were to be 4v4 in the competitive, just like how it's 4v4 in ranked in Gears 5 right now, I wouldn't mind that. Maybe quick play 5v5 and then ranked is 4v4. I would prefer 5v5 though.
It depends on the game modes.
I agree.
It really depends on the game modes.
I think it does too. I mean,
yeah. I do not want to play 4v4 while playing King of the Hill. I don't. I really don't.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I guess it just ranges. I don't really either. I can go kind of either way with it because I've had good experiences with both. So, let's see here, guys. I like domination towards the end. I think 4v4 is a little bit slow, even with fast movement. Let's see. I have faith in E-Day. I don't know. I mean, 4v4 sometimes, well, like you said, Extra, it kind of depends on the game mode.
And the map.
In the map, yeah, 100%. I won't
Regency 4v4 in Gears 5 is awful. That map is so big.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Standbar 1v1s, anybody?
I want to talk about this next, guys. And you guys are like, it's awesome that you guys are giving us all these, like, just a lot of things to talk about here. But I really want to talk about this because all three of us have pretty strong opinions on the current state of where we are as a franchise. And one of the things that is kind of part of contributing factor to this was what should have been, what could have been, and what is with Gears of War Reloaded, and how Gears of War Reloaded failed on a number of different fronts. I've spoken a lot about this, guys, and so I really want to talk to Extra Father and Crisp about this. But all in all, the failure of Gears of War Reloaded, I mean, it should not have been a failure really at all. And I don't know if Xbox looks at it as a failure. I mean, I think that they had sold 200,000 copies when the game first came out on PlayStation. I think it might be up closer to 500,000 or something now on the PlayStation. But Gears of War Reloaded, in a number of ways, the ball was fumbled at the 1 yard, like the 1 yard line. You could say the marketing, the care that the Coalition obviously had or did not have for the title. Extra Fathers talked about having a horde mode with Gears of War Reloaded would have really helped the game. I totally agree. They didn't do that because Gears of War 1 didn't have horde, but it still would have been a great feature to have to keep us kind of playing something until E-Day comes out. And I felt that Gears of War Reloaded could have been used as marketing material to market Gears of War E-Day, like well in advance, get everybody super hyped. Like you have a bunch of people playing Reloaded, and as things are coming out about E-Day, they're kind of updating those things within Reloaded, and they can market through Reloaded and stuff, but whatever. Nonetheless, I think that the unfortunate reality that Reloaded, I believe, should have been the biggest Gears of War title of all time because it was going to PlayStation. It wasn't going to be just available to 30 to 35 million people who bought Xbox Series X and S's. It would have been expanded to another 75 million people in terms of units sold for the PlayStation, the PS5 specifically. But I think that was a majorly missed opportunity, because even if the Coalition didn't really want to make it and they wanted to do a collection, and Xbox said, no, you're not doing a collection, you're doing Reloaded, and then you'll do Reloaded 2, and then you'll do Reloaded 3 or whatever, and then we'll make it a collection after all three of them come out or whatever. Depending on if they handcuff them to do it, and then, Coalition ended up, making Gears of War Reloaded, and they didn't really have much care in it. Even if they didn't have a lot of care, I mean, it's their work at the end of the day. So why wouldn't they want Gears of War Reloaded to be great? And so it just doesn't make sense to me. Why weren't they just at least marketing on their social media, on Twitter for free, on Facebook, on Instagram, or what, like TikTok, whatever? We didn't see that, at least very much. I mean, they made like a few posts. I mean, it was crazy. Like, what the fuck is up with the lack of care for that title? And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I would be very concerned if E-Day was going to be a full open world game. Why is there's a lack of care for a game that the Coalition worked on? Even if they didn't want to make it, it was still their work. So ultimately, Reloaded, I'm not sure if they look at it as a success, but it could have been so much more, in my personal opinion, than what it was. And really, I feel like it could have been just an absolute, not a ton of resource and development maybe would have to go into it, but they could have gotten so much more return if they handled the marketing to just like a number of different aspects of the game properly. But obviously, we're in this current situation. And so we look back on Reloaded and it's like, man, dude, what could have been and what should have been. But what actually was is where we are currently. Extra Father, you've had a lot of things to say about Reloaded. A number of videos that went pretty viral in the Gears of War community in relation to Gears of War Reloaded. Why are we here? Why is it that Reloaded was a game that had, yes, remake of a remaster, however you want to look at it. But nonetheless, it was coming to PlayStation. How was the ball fumbled at the 1 yard line like this? Because at the end of the day, I've given Xbox a lot of shit about a number of things, but this one feels like it's on the coalition and kind of lands solely on them. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, what wasn't a failure about this game? Um, so the only thing that really didn't need to be touched at all was the campaign. Like, they really didn't need to do anything to it besides, higher resolution, smoother frame rate. Um, but I mean, there is so much I could say about this game. I mean, the main menu is literally the same thing as Ultimate Edition. I mean, come on, man. Like multiplayer, they fucked up the multiplayer with changing the Nasher. I mean, all they had to do was keep the UE Nasher and just, make it better, make it more consistent. Um, just like the bare minimum, change some of the progression, make me earn medals to play the game, put in a horde mode. I mean, we got so many people coming from PlayStation. A horde mode would have absolutely fucking helped this game as far as player retention. There's so many things they could have done, or like, I mean, just small little things. I mean, make you earn multiplayer skins, make you earn things through multiplayer, like leveling up, like you get a specific like emblem, or how about you change the fact that we've got boxes around our re-ups? Like, who wants to keep playing for a box around your re-up? Like, there's so many different things they could have implemented, but they just didn't do anything, and it's literally a high resolution Ultimate Edition. There's no excuse for it. It's a complete failure in my eyes, because this could have been the game to keep us hyped until E-Day. Instead, it died very quickly, like I thought it would, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough, dude. It was really tough because I said it multiple times. You guys can watch the tape. I really believed that Reloaded was going to be like, from a sales perspective, I believed it was going to be huge, for especially going to PlayStation. And I thought, like, even the player base, I mean, is going to grow significantly. And man, dude, but honestly, dude, and I maybe I was delusional to think this. I thought that they were going to really market it hard. I mean, I thought there was going to be this whole, like, remember when when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out, they had the Barbenheimer. Like, I thought they were going to do that kind of shit with, like, Helldivers and Gears of War Reloaded. Like, they're both coming out on the same day, but on separate consoles. It was like a truce in the console wars. Like, I just thought they had this on a platter. Like, it was just waiting, dude. Like, all you had to do was run this shit in 1 yard, go beast mode for 1 yard. I feel like there was such a lack of care. And I don't know if it's a systemic issue at the coalition, but my God, dude. Like, it was just painful, because I felt like there was so much possibility for them to do some awesome things. Like, imagine this, dude. Imagine this. Like, say they should have had a roadmap for Reloaded, right? And it wouldn't have been like a crazy fucking roadmap to get to E-Day. But, like, imagine if you pulled up Reloaded and one of the first things that you see is this roadmap. And every single month they're adding different things. And then the last month is like it was like blank until they announce when E-Day is releasing. And then that got updated. And so you see it, like, you see you're getting closer to E-Day. And as you're going, this roadmap, oh, they're adding a brand new game mode. It's like, wait, they're adding a brand new game mode into Gears of War Reloaded, but that game mode is actually a new mode that's going to be in E-Day. Like, I just feel like they could have done so much fucking cool shit, bro, like with Reloaded that could have, like, I don't know. I think that they could have really hyped up E-Day in a number of ways through Reloaded. But there just wasn't this roadmap at all. There was no map. There was none. Crisp, what do you think about this, dude? This is Reloaded is going to be studied in terms of, especially if it turns out, like, I haven't really looked at the numbers yet, but I don't know if they're really thinking of it as a success, a failure. I mean, they said there was 1 million players. Remember this extra? They've got 1 million players that, you know, have jumped into Gears of War Reloaded, and I don't know. I don't even know. Like, that was a tweet, and then we didn't get another tweet for a while. I don't know. It's just it's a whole situation. What do you think's going on here, Crisp?
I'm not sure what's going on exactly right now, but I can promise you, unless they changed fundamentally what Gears of War 1 is, there is probably no world, or probably not Gears of War 1, but Gears of War Ultimate Edition at least. There's probably no world where Reloaded would have been a good play. Especially in like the time span that it came out in. Like after like a year of waiting for E-Day news, you get just a remaster of a remaster. Still there with the same bugs, still there with like the same glitches. I guess they are bugs. Still there with like the UE controls, which some people like, but I think mainly like old heads like the Gears of War 1 controls, and to slightly modernize it with like the omnidirectional rolling and stuff like that. That did modernize it a bit, but then not pushing that anymore forward was kind of like a ball drop. Because if you think about it, Gears of War, it's so hard to think, but even going like in the trilogy, going from Gears of War 3 to Gears of War 2, huge leap. Going to Gears of War 2 to Gears of War 1, huge leap. Like they updated the controls way too much. Not way too much as in like it's a bad thing, but way too much as in going back, it'll be hard to probably not enjoy it the same amount, but to feel comfortable playing it. So let's just say like Gears of War 5 was like the largest Gears game because it was on Xbox and PC. To the people on PlayStation who haven't played Gears in forever because just because they're on PlayStation, they get Gears and it still plays. I hate to say it. I don't mean to offend anybody who enjoys Gears of War Reloaded or Gears of War Ultimate Edition, but it doesn't feel good. It plays like shit.
It's the worst gameplay of the series.
Yeah, it's like real stocky. Shotgun, that's a preference, so I'm not gonna really say like shotgun's bad or not, because I suck with it. But the shotgun, it's completely different than the rest of the series. Movement, it's real stocky. You can't even like roll while in cover. Like if you're in cover and then you press like left or right and then tap A to roll, you can't do that. Real stocky, get stuck to walls, bouncing works completely differently, can't wall cancel, can't do like most of the tech that works pretty much everywhere else in the series. Which made the movement interesting, in my opinion, and I think most people's opinion, and that's why they kept moving in that direction. But being in 2025 or 2026 and playing Reloaded, it feels like you're playing like obviously something from fucking 15 years ago. Or I guess 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20
because like there's just so much development that we've had in video games and even Gears of War in those years, that even if you did add a horde mode for the longevity, I don't think it would have survived a long time. I think Ultimate Edition is, from the stats that we have, like the official stats that we have, and not just speculation, I'm pretty sure Ultimate Edition is one of the worst selling mainline Gears of War games like ever. Um, and especially now that subscriptions are a big thing, it probably even sold less. So that's why if the tweet you're talking about is talking about players instead of copies, that's why they mentioned players instead of copies sold.
Yeah, because it's including people that were playing the campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I did the fucking $1 a month to try out Reloaded, and what did I do? Played it one time. Like, it's like even if I added a horde mode, I can only enjoy fighting drones and boomers for so long until I get bored.
No, I mean you're right, dude. I mean we're complaining we're complaining about what happened with Reloaded, even though I do think it could have been like the biggest Gears. The reality is, like, make no mistake about it, guys. Gears of War, like Reloaded, should not have happened. Like it should have been a collection. Like that's what we all.
I'd rather not have it.
What, a collection?
Honestly. No, I'd rather not have Reloaded.
Well, no, I know. I'm saying we all wanted a collection, though. You know, like in terms of quenching our thirst, which would have been Gears 1 through 3, even though it really, the collection should be like 2 and 3. Like I mean, it doesn't, because we already got Ultimate. You know, I don't know. I mean,
Well, here's the thing: Reloaded could be hurting E-Day. It could hurt E-Day
It will hurt E-Day.
because all these PlayStation players that are playing this game for the very first time, they're playing a 20-year-old game, not a game from 2026. So it's like they're getting into something that's extremely dated, and they're gonna think like they're gonna see a new E-Day trailer and they're gonna be like, "Wow, do you remember that game? That game kind of played like shit." Like they're gonna
That's
think
it.
that.
The gameplay
So
was
it's
like shit, the story wasn't that deep, the multiplayer was buggy. Yeah, I don't know, man.
well, I think the biggest thing would be like just the people jumping into multiplayer and just getting mollywopped. Like, you know, just like they're a brand new player coming into the franchise, gets onto Gears of War multiplayer by themselves. I mean, they are about to be put into an absolute blender of hell. Like it's going to be like, it won't be fun. And that's why, you know, to your point, Extra, about the horde mode and having other ways to connect, like, is really, really important, especially at first. But even having like I don't know, some kind of like, whether it's like some other like extensive training grounds, like, I mean, I don't know what exactly, but like
any kind of PvE would help.
a PvE,
Any kind of PvE would have helped.
Yeah, it would have helped for sure. Because I think like
Even if it was like a 2v, like a Marcus and Dom, like mission by mission or something like that, anything
Right.
would have helped.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think so too. But I think like really, if we got 2 and 3, um, I really think that we would have been in a much better place, just because we already had Gears of War 1 in the form of Ultimate Edition. And so it's like, and 2 and 3 are, I mean, pretty unanimously the two best of the franchise. So it's like, I mean, Gears of War 1 was incredible, but I mean, I would put 3, 2, 1, you know what I mean? Like in terms of order. And so 2 and 3, it's like, well, why don't we have that? But anyway, I mean, it's a wild topic, just because of like the story here of how this thing maybe happened. And a lot of things we're not going to know, guys. We're not going to know like probably the inside of like how Reloaded was created. Like, was this something that the coalition actually wanted to do, or were they forced to do it? Did they want to do a collection originally? Like, you know, those are things that will probably come out in a number of years, but like, it's something that we can at least speculate about, and it's unfortunate. But all that we can do at this point is really just hope that E-Day is really, really special. Gear Luigi said, I'm asked another question on the multiplayer. How do you see Overrun as the new main competitive mode? I really think Oh shit. I just lost my okay. I really think it is the most strategic and most interesting mode. Also the best to watch in Gears esports. Um, I don't
I
agree.
disagree.
I disagree. Totally disagree. I mean, like Overrun is a cool mode. Don't get me wrong. But execution and escalation, bro. And if they come up with a new mode altogether that's compelling like escalation, I'm in. But I mean, Overrun's cool. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't like it from a competitive, like an esports perspective. Escalation, execution, and maybe something new if they have something really compelling. What do you think, Extra?
Well, here, like Overrun, I really liked Overrun,
Yeah,
but if I
same.
was gonna be playing competitive Overrun, I wouldn't like it. I really wouldn't because it's more of a casual mode. It's more of a cooperative, PvP mode. I'd never have ever run into Overrun and been like, all right, I got to get a 5 stack. We got to get this win. Like, that never entered my mind ever.
You guys are insane. What? Dude,
Never.
Overrun, there's a I feel like that mode was like layered enough, and they did a lot of different things with it, um, to make it as balanced as possible.
It
Like
wasn't
no,
balanced though.
like truthfully,
Well, I mean,
it,
the question though is like, I mean, in terms of like compared to escalation execution within esports, or
well,
just, or I guess
replacing
competitive, right?
replacing one of them probably not, but being within that roster, yeah, being within that roster, if they were to bring it back, I would not mind, because if you really think about it, um, they had a lot of areas for the Locust to flank. They made sure not to give anybody super long range weapons. Like there was the Ranger with the breach shot, and the breach shot needed some tuning, but they never tuned it, and it stayed OP. But
Favorite
other than that,
weapon.
um, like nobody really had like OP nades. Nobody had like an OP weapon other than the breach shot, obviously. Nobody had any long range weapons to keep people at bay. The cog had like enough open area to fight in that even when the locusts did break through, they still kind of had like some defense. Um, for the most part, the holes were kept in an area that Locust would have to like overstep their boundary just to get into. Like a lot of stuff, a lot of small stuff with that game mode that you don't really even like pay attention to was done to keep that game like running like as smoothly as possible, so one team didn't feel overpowered by the other. If you were getting overpowered by the opposite team, you were probably just getting cooked. The same way if you're playing TDM and you lose fucking 0 to 15, you just got cooked. Like that's what it is. Overrun, I could see it as a competitive game mode. Like, the game mode's awesome, and with just like a slightly tweak on the balance, like you're good. You got a brand new game mode right there for
No,
competitive.
I agree. I'm like, dude, Overrun is yeah. I really like Overrun. I wouldn't replace it. Or I should say, I
Oh
wouldn't
wait,
have
was
it
that the question?
replace.
Replacing it?
Well, the question is should it be the main? You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
main competitive game mode?
right,
Main
right.
competitive game mode? No, but like another competitive game mode? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
I agree with that,
Yeah, I agree with
but
it too.
not
I
the main
agree.
thing.
Yeah, not the main thing. Yeah, I agree. Um,
I don't want to see Optic Gaming play Overrun.
MD Ultra, what's up, brother? We were, let's see, right about sales being around 200,000 plus. It's now at 847,000. Really? I didn't fucking know that. Have they? Is that confirmed?
Where's my updates? TC?
Where's the million copies sold? Tell me that one. I'll be
Well, yeah. Well,
impressed.
that they're probably waiting for that, right? We're probably never getting there. 847,000. I mean, dude, that's actually more than I thought.
And also 847,000, is that estimates or is that like actual like numbers?
Well, MD MD runs like he runs like an Xbox Game Pass club, so he like kind of keeps up with a lot of the numbers of this kind of stuff. So I'm not sure. I have to, obviously it's public information. I mean, we can find out. It's from obviously it's Microsoft. We can certainly find out how many copies they sold. It could be up there. I mean, I just remember though that Helldivers 2, they sold like over 1 million copies within like a couple weeks of the release of Helldivers 2. Like it was on Xbox. It was pretty wild. So, I mean, maybe they've sold that many. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just remember seeing the number 200,000, and that was that was pretty like it was pretty early on, but nonetheless. Let's see here. Um Ide can't do enough. What's up, Kang? Ide can't do enough to make Microsoft happy. Even if it was a perfect game for us, it needs to sell 1 billion copies to make them happy. I mean, I disagree, bro. I mean, that's just like they want
They
to.
haven't failed on Halo.
Dude, Halo and Gears are both kind of in the same boat. I mean, like when we really think about it. And honestly, dude, it's way better right now to be a Gears of War fan than a Halo fan, because they're getting Halo Campaign Evolved, whereas we're getting E-Day. And Campaign Evolved, in my opinion, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I don't know if you guys play much Halo. I've played like the original Halo. I've played each Halo that's come out, but this feels like Reloaded, but less than Reloaded, because all it is a campaign.
I disagree.
How do you how do you disagree?
At least Halo is a remake.
Okay, but it's only a campaign.
I'd much rather have a remake than I'd rather have a remake of Gears of War, say if Gears of War Reloaded was an actual remake of the first one, I'd much rather prefer that than have the multiplayer and like nothing change about Reloaded.
You're saying you just have the campaign and that was it.
That's a true snook. Oh my god! Wait, that's a. I never even fucking thought about that. That's a true snook. Oh wait. Yeah, that's actually crazy. Wait,
you're saying
Virtual High Five. That's true snook.
You're saying that you're saying that if it was just the campaign and they just knocked the campaign out of the park, is that what you're saying? Like it would like you would rather just have that rather than having all like the other modes or multiplayer or whatever. So you're saying
I'd rather have Reloaded be a remake about only the campaign than got what we got with Reloaded.
Okay, so with Halo 1 or Halo Campaign Evolved, you would rather have the campaign than all of it.
I mean, let's see. So Halo had like a slight remaster anniversary edition, right?
What was like the Master Chief Collection or whatever?
Yeah, it was
it
was like an updated version. Was it basically a remaster? The anniversary edition?
Remaster.
Okay.
I think so. I'm not much of a Halo guy.
So yeah, I would much rather have a remake Gears of War Reloaded campaign than have what we have with nothing changing from Ultimate Edition to Reloaded. At least Halo campaign remake is an actual remake instead of just the anniversary edition remastered. So,
and just for clarification, you guys are using remake as like remaking the game and not just a remaster, as in just like updating the game. Okay.
Right.
Oh, it's actually gonna be like a full-on remake. I'll have to look into that because I think Halo 1 is like the only one I've ever actually beaten.
It looks beautiful.
Oh yeah, it really dude, it does. It looks great. I'm just saying, right? You know, like Halo. What they want is Halo 7. You know, it's like us as Gears fans. We want E-Day. We didn't like. It's not that we didn't. None of us really asked for Reloaded. We asked for a collection and the next entry of the Gears of War franchise, which obviously came out later to be E-Day. I'm just saying, like, if I'm a Halo fan, it's like, okay, so we're going to have the campaign and it's coming to PlayStation, which is cool, right? Similar to Reloaded. I mean, yeah, it's going to get more people to play Halo, one of the most iconic games. And, you know, Gears and Halo are like the two biggest, you know, franchises or IPs that Xbox possesses. I mean, before Call of Duty, of course, came out, or before Call of Duty they acquired. So I think it's not much that's there for Halo fans. You know, it's just a campaign, and I'm not saying that that's like it's a terrible thing. I'm glad that Gears, we got E-Day and they're still waiting for Halo 7. But they are both in the same boat in a number of situations. I look at Campaign Evolved kind of similar to the way I looked at Reloaded. But let's see here. We got to, let's see. MC collection is okay. I think with Halo, they're going to play it safe with Campaign Evolved, then go to Halo 7. I think it'll turn off a lot of people for the fact that it won't have any multiplayer. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, we talk about not really having anything to come back to, with the Halo Campaign Evolved. You're just going to keep playing the campaign over and over again? That's kind of my thought, like, after you're done playing it once, or if you want to complete the campaign, like on, every difficulty, maybe, but at some point a lot of people, after they play the campaign, are probably just going to move on to other games. I don't know. I mean, I know, like,
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
Is Halo Infinite still getting updates?
It's a good question. I don't even know. They might be.
If so, Halo is far superior than Gears right now.
I think the sole fact that they got a whole remaster collection and then Infinite after, I think that's already like way more than you could possibly ask for. Even if they're not getting updates anymore.
Because we haven't gotten an update since 2021.
Mm-hmm.
2021.
Yeah, like, I mean, no,
we waited 5 years for a remaster of a remaster.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm pretty sure Halo Infinite is not getting updated anymore, but yeah, I don't think it is. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, it's had a longer run, I guess you could say, than what we've been having when it comes to updates and stuff like that. But I mean, look, I guess that leads us, guys, into this last thing. We talk about other games that are obviously other Xbox IPs, and, our beloved Gears of War that we're just hoping that can just, like, somewhat, I mean, I don't even know if should even ask for the glory days again, because maybe it's just too much to ask for. But the question is now, is the future of Gears of War is certainly in question. I mean, I guess you could say E-Day, obviously there's just so many unknowns that we just don't know. But outside of Gears of War E-Day, let's just say that, let's all be optimistic for a second, and let's just think to ourselves, okay, like, E-Day comes out and it does great. Okay, let's just say it does great. Even if it does great for a fucking 6 months or whatever, if it does great at first, what does this mean for Gears of War in the future? Because obviously we have a Gears of War movie that is still being made by Netflix. We don't know where that's going. Could we potentially get more, like, Gears of War comics or novels? Could we get the collection after this? Or do you jump from E-Day all the way to Gears 6? There's a lot of question marks for not just, I just think that we've got to focus on just E-Day right now. But what do you guys think if E-Day does well? Because if it doesn't do well, I don't know what's going to happen to Gears of War. So I'm going to be optimistic right now. I think that E-Day will do really well if it's handled properly. And so what do you guys think happens if and when Gears of War E-Day does really good in terms of the franchise as a whole, the games, outside the games? What do you guys think about that? Crisp, I'll start with you.
The hard pill to swallow, the Gears pill, if you will. The Gears pill, as of right now, the Coalition pill, is that on in terms of outside memorabilia and like all this stuff, and like media, the Coalition really isn't the company, or I guess the branch of Microsoft to do that, because within Gears of War 1 through Gears of War 3, that's a span of, please, quick math. Let me do this. 4 or 5. That 5-year run in between Gears of War 1 through 3, um that 5-year run, just about, um
It's crazy.
it's like, what do we get? We got like 7 novels. We got multiple comic issues. So many comics that um that we literally have like 2 separate omnibuses of comics, like so thick, like 2 thick entire omnibuses of comics. Um and what do we have within the same span, if not longer, of Gears of War from the Coalition? We have Gears of War Ascendance, Gears of War Bloodlines, the 5-issue comic line that we have with Hivebusters, and that's it. That's all we have within 10 years. And like, I feel like the Coalition, I don't know if it's just because companies don't want to work with Microsoft anymore or what. Oh yeah, wait, we also had like the 5-issue run of Ram Shadow, which is pretty fun read. Um, I don't think TC, whether it's because companies don't want to work with Microsoft, or if TC is just scared to put money someplace that they fear won't sell or something like that. But I feel like even if E-Day does super well, nothing is going to come out of it. Nothing in terms of like outside alternative media. Gear 6 most likely going to come out after E-Day. Phoenix Collection most likely going to come out after E-Day if E-Day does well. But I think that the Coalition, or if they are being held back by Microsoft, they're scared to make a big like leap. They're scared to make a big jump into like another media presence for some reason.
Dude, I honestly think that if E-Day does really good.
Oh, also, wait, I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't think the movie's ever coming out. There's been a Gears of War movie in development since like 2008. I don't think it's ever coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure either. That it's Netflix has got they've got Assassin's Creed as well that they're working on. So I mean, there's a
yeah, that's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I don't know. I'll see it when when we see something, then I'll start believing. But yeah, I'm with you on that.
Wait, like God of War's coming out. God of War is getting a series. Yep.
Oh,
they
God.
are.
Gears is never coming out. I hate to say it. That's the Gears pill. Gears is never coming out with a TV series or movie, unfortunately. If it does, I'll buy everybody here a ticket.
Might get the anime, but I doubt it's the movie.
I don't know.
That's
I mean,
scary.
you don't. We haven't really heard too much. I mean, you got the writers. You got I mean, yeah. It's unfortunate. I would love to see a really good adaptation. I mean, the thing is that we've seen a lot of good video game adaptations and we've seen a lot of bad ones. And well, we've seen certainly more bad than good. And so I just wouldn't want Gears of War to be kind of put into the box of the bad ones, not saying that it would hurt the video game, but it could. And so, yeah, it's hard to say. In terms of like where we go after E-Day, I disagree with you on Gear 6 happening. Part of me feels like if E-Day does well, I don't know if we're ever going to get Gear 6. Because think of it like this. If you just start bringing in new fans from PlayStation to start playing Gears of War, and they play E-Day, and then right after E-Day, say E-Day ends off right where it's hard to say, like with the timeline, is it going to end off like very, very close to where Gears of War 1 begins? Like because it's only going to be several, like a number of nights or whatever. The actual E-Day campaign is going to run for a certain number, like several days, not a super long period of time in one city, that being Kelowna. And so it's like, okay, in terms of the timeline, are they going to leave this shit on a cliffhanger and then do something, you know what I'm saying? Like in between where we are, and then you have Gears of War 1. So what I'm saying is E-Day does
No, wait, I don't think that necessarily matters, because like With Gears of War 1, do we really need like a game telling us what's happening in between Gears 1 and 2? Like, yeah, we have the novels in between them and stuff like that. Like that novels do pretty good at like splitting the games apart and like still understanding what's happening in between. But you can play Gears of War 1, 2, and 3 without understanding what's happening in the middle. And I feel like there's enough like little bit of lore in the games. If you care so much about it, you can play Judgment or Tactics, which are spin-offs and different than the main game. But I don't think you're gonna play E-Day and need to know what happens within the next 14 years until Gears of War 1.
No, but hold on. What I'm saying though, Crisp, is okay. Just bear with me. We know, the three of us and everyone who has played Gears of War for any like stretch of time, like we know where the story is essentially going. But what I'm saying is these PlayStation players, like new people, don't, right? Because
They would need to have it ported
okay.
in order to understand.
Okay.
Yeah,
it.
they would have to play Gears of War 2, 3. So Phoenix Collection would be the best way to go.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that I think E-Day, you have Gears of War Reloaded, which is on PlayStation, and then you have 2 and 3. They do those. And then I think that there's a possibility that they start stemming into like, because you're not going to go from Gears of War E-Day to Gear 6, because now you've totally confused all these PlayStation players. Like, why would you go from E-Day, the beginning, to then all the way to the current? It's like, dude, what? That would be like Scream 1 comes out in theaters, and then they come out with Scream 7. The only time I've ever seen it like happen and it worked was Star Wars, where they started with like, 4, 5, 6, and then they go back to 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know, because we did Gears 3 and then Judgment and then back to 1, and then we went back to 4. That like just those 3 games separated. That's like those are like
from a
jump.
new player's perspective.
No. Yeah, even from a new player's perspective, they play E-Day, and if they're interested in what's happening chronologically, they just play 1. And then
They can't play the
hopefully,
rest.
yeah, hopefully those get ported.
right. I'm saying,
But then saying that that's gonna stop Gear 6 from ever coming out, like I don't think that's really like the case. Like I think Gear 6 is still gonna come out.
I think that the coalition, after Rod Ferguson left, I think the original idea was we're going to do Gear 6 when Rod Ferguson was there. And then the new leadership said, we're not going to do that. And we're going to change the name back to Gears of War, which is what it is. And we're going to go back to the roots of this shit. And they did with E-Day. And I think they want to, I think there's a possibility, especially if E-Day does well, that they're going to lean even heavier into that. Like, I think they're like, I mean, maybe at some point they go back to it. Like, I don't know, dude. Part of me is like with where Gears, it's kind of like Judgment, right? Like when Judgment, like after Judgment and like what happened after that, like, I don't know, that we got Gears of War Ultimate Edition, but then the next entry was Gears of War 4. So yeah, they were hopping around, but it was almost like they were like, we're not going to lean further into Judgment. Like Judgment happened, and then they were like, okay, when the coalition takes over, they're like, fuck that, we're not going anywhere near that shit. We'll do Ultimate Edition, we'll do this remaster, or whatever. They bring it out. And then they're like, we're going to do now our version. And so then they did, or not their version, but like their game is going to be Gears of War 4. And so, yes, they did jump around a little bit. But what I'm saying is part of me thinks that there were a number of people at the coalition who maybe weren't fully on board with Rod Ferguson's vision for Gears. Because why wouldn't they have continued Gear 6? Because now we're back to Gears of War, and we're going back to the very beginning. And I mean, maybe it was Xbox. I mean, we don't like, but I feel that the creatives at the coalition were like, dude, this is not going down the right track. Like we're losing people here. Like that's at least what I think. And so they were like, we're moving on from this timeline, and maybe they'll revisit it at some point. I just don't think after E-Day you're going to Gear 6. Like I don't see any world in where they do that and they split this community like in a put everyone into this like whirlwind where now you're playing as Kate Diaz. Who the fuck is this? Like, I'm just saying, like, they could do it totally different than what I'm saying, but first of all, I don't think that this current rendition or this current form of the coalition would call it Gear 6. I think it would be Gears of War 6, but I think that they would, I don't know. I think E-Day happens, and then maybe the collection happens, and then maybe a Pendulum Wars game, and then maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know where it's going. Pendulum Wars would be difficult because it's humans versus humans, but like, I think there could be some interesting things there. I think there's a lot that they can explore. At some point, we got to move on from Marcus and Dom. I think we all know this, but like, I don't know. I just, part of me wonders if some of the guys and girls at the coalition are like, they don't even want maybe some of the stuff in Gears 5 to be canon, or they don't even know what's canon. Like, did Dell die? Did JD die? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's just like a lot of things where they're probably like, we don't really like where we were going here. And so that's why they changed course. But I don't know. That's just kind of the way that I look at it. I'm not saying that that's like that. Like, that's definitely what happened. I have no insider information on it, but there's a reason why we're getting E-Day
like,
and not Gear 6.
If we were to take your like thought process to its conclusion, then like E-Day comes out, and then the people who never played Gears play E-Day, then they play 1, and then
2 and 3.
they would pour 2 and 3, and then they would play 2 and 3. If you were to take your thought process to its conclusion, then they would have to come out with a Gear 6. They would just have to, if people were playing through the story like that. So to say that we're not gonna get Gear 6, like really like ever, we're just gonna keep jumping around to like Pendulum Wars, this and that. That's kind of like just like not right way to like look at things. Like maybe
let me give you an example, and I want to hear from you too, Extra Father, on this, because this is I think this is important. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Call of Duty, but Call of Duty came out with a couple of games that were very interesting in a number of ways. One of them was Call of Duty Ghosts. Call of Duty Ghosts, at the end of the campaign, left us on the biggest cliffhanger of all time in Call of Duty, and we never got a sequel.
So
what I'm saying is that Gears 5, there's a possibility that they don't even follow this timeline. Like something, they change course where it's like in Star Wars, they changed to new characters. Like now, certainly they kept some of the old characters there and stuff. What I'm saying though is I'm wondering in its current form that there's a possibility that they are going to completely change course from what happened up to Gears 5, like in terms of the stuff that happened within Gears 5. Like, I don't even know if they're going to continue that. Like Kate Diaz's journey.
I don't think so. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the stories in Call of Duty? Because I'm not like a big Call of Duty head. Like if I were to take Modern Warfare, Black Ops, World at War, and like Ghost, would those all be following the same like linear events?
No. Not at all.
Would they even be within like the same technical like, quote unquote universe?
I mean, well, it's
if that answer to that isn't yes, then it can't work in Gears of War's situation, because Gears of War, it's a linear game. You play Gears 1, you play Gears 2, you play Gears 3. If you want to do it super chronologically, then you play Judgment and Tactics, and then you go like that. But Gears of War is a linear game. All this stuff is happening within the same universe, and with like with Star Wars, they start following different characters and stuff like that, and start jumping around the place, different parts of the galaxy, different characters, all somehow still connected to like the main Skywalker stuff. I'm not a super big Star Wars head either. Still got to watch the movies, but like I have like a super surface level knowledge of what it is. Gears of War, it's like yeah, you can swap characters. Swapping to JD or swapping to Kate isn't a bad thing. But if we're gonna get to Kate, leave that on a cliffhanger, and then go completely somewhere else and never return to that. The reason Ghost was never returned to, I don't know the exact reasons, but the reason it's able to sit there and never get returned to is because Ghost doesn't necessarily connect to other parts of the Call of Duty series. Like you
Well,
can
it does.
play
No, I
like
mean it
the same way
does. It
the same
does.
way like the same way you could play like Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, and then wait a whole bunch of years until Modern Warfare 4. Um, it's like it doesn't need to be like an end all be all.
I'm
Ghost could literally
like
be coming out like next year if this is the case and everything. But like Gears of War is a linear game that follows uh like a set of characters in one universe that all connect to each other within that same like lifetime. Um, so it's like it's
I feel like there's
from
a
a
lot
marketing
more.
perspective and a storytelling perspective and like an everything perspective, saying that it's just like okay or like the ability is there just to leave Kate kind of in the dust and never really bring about Gears of War 6 is both bad for the game, the series, the people who enjoy the game, and just like Gears of War as a whole.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I feel like because when you get to Gear 6, I just it's a really tough. It's tough for me because I don't know what they would end up doing. Like, okay, now we're going to change the tone back to like kind of how we had in Gears 5, and we're kind of changing to that. Like, I don't know. Part of me is like, I are they might, maybe they're not done. Maybe they are done with it. I don't know, for better or worse. I'm not sure, but what do you think, Extra Father?
So here's what I think. I don't think we're gonna see a Gear 6 until they can afford to make the game. Like until they can afford to have a massive dropout, I really think we're not gonna see Gear 6 um until something really succeeds to where they can afford to have something fail. That's what I think is going to happen because I think in Gears 6 we're going to have a lot of microtransactions. It's going to be a lot like Gears 5 in a lot of ways and it's not going to survive on its own. So I think they're waiting to have enough money to just be like, "Hey, we got to finish this timeline, but then we're moving on to something else." Like that's what I think is going to happen.
I feel like if Gear 6 happens, to your point, Crisp, I mean, I think that if it happens, and if it should happen, I don't think it's happening for, I don't believe it'll happen in the next console generation. I don't know if it'll happen in the next one. Like, I think it's far down the road if it happens. Like, I cannot see a world where the coalition decides after E-Day to go to Gear 6. Or even like, I just think that they're going to want to do, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily spin-offs or they're going to start introducing new characters and then you start following other journeys, like kind of like what we got with JD and stuff. But like maybe even,
Why can't EA just follow Kate again?
I'm not saying well, no, I
like
mean,
what?
why would E-Day follow Kate? It doesn't make
did
sense.
I say Kate? I mean EA. I mean I'm so sorry. I fumbled my words. Like why can't like Gear 6 just like follow Kate again? Like what would be like the issue with
Oh no, I
that?
mean,
Like
I'm not.
I don't think it needs
Yeah,
to
I
like
mean,
influence,
well,
like so many other characters.
I had an issue with them changing from JD to Kate as quick as they did. I'm not saying I don't like Kate. I'm saying I just felt like we should have played a few more games with JD before we got to Kate Diaz, but we got to her. And so, I mean, no, if they made a Gear 6, I mean, more than likely, yeah, dude, we're gonna continue as Kate. But I'm just saying, are they gonna do it? Because I don't see really. I don't really see a world in which we're gonna get that anytime soon. I'm not saying that we never get it, but I don't know. That's just kind of like my personal like opinion. I mean, it's not. Uh,
I hope we never get it.
I mean, I'm not.
I hope we do.
I'm honestly, dude. Honestly, I kind of don't want it either. Like, I just want more of like what we're seeing out of E-Day. Like, but I know, guys, I know that at some point we have to move on from Marcus and Dom. I get it. All right. This is it's gonna happen to Hitman. It's gonna happen to, like it's gonna happen to all the guys and girls like in God of War and all these different games. You're gonna have to move on. Because isn't Atreus or whatever his name is, Kratos, Atreus. Kratos' son is going to be the new like main character or something in the new game that you play as. He's the new playable character. And so at some point you got to pass the torch. I mean, you saw in The Witcher, we had Geralt, he passes the torch to Ciri. And so Ciri now is going to be the main character. So I get it, but like, there's got to be like a good passing of the torch. And even like to me with Gears, there's a chance that how vast is this universe that is Gears of War? Because could we just go to a whole new place and see what the fuck is going on? Like,
I don't think so.
Well, because they talk about Gears of War in space, right? Carmine talks about this,
but there's like what you call it? There's like two superpowers in Gears of War, and that's the COG and the UIR. A lot of unless you want to say like you want a game focusing on like the Islanders or something like that, like there's not really many other superpowers within the Gears of War universe from my knowledge at least. But it's like genuinely my only criticism in terms of like the new characters that we have is like I am upset that we didn't get Kate in Gears of War 4 as the main character, because she's practically the main character in Gears 4. The story revolves around her. Gears 5, the story revolves around her. I think it's awesome that JD is Marcus Phoenix's son. But since the story is so Kate focused, especially since she's the queen's granddaughter and like all this hive mind stuff is happening, it would just be important to focus on her for like the entirety of the case. Like yes, JD is a Phoenix, but the same way, like you said, we have to move on from these characters. He is Lieutenant Pedigree after all, for like just like Foz said. Just because he's a Phoenix doesn't mean he has to be the main character.
Nobody
Especially
would have bought the game if it was Kate for the 4.
No, I know, I feel that. But I feel like it's just what has to happen. It's literally just what has to happen. Unless they wanted to somehow make the story revolve around JD, but that's not what's happening. So I think it would have been better off if they just had Kate as the main character, with JD by her side, JD and Del by her side.
Yeah, I would have been down. I would have been down with something like that, but like, I just don't know, like, if they're going to continue Kate's story. I just don't know. I mean, Extra Father and I think we were talking on the last episode of the podcast about how it would be interesting if Kate, the whole time you're playing as the next Locust Queen, you know, like certain plot twists, like you're actually playing the villain in this. Like maybe it looks like she's kind of siding with the COG, but is she? Like there could be a lot of mystery there. There's certain things that would be interesting about Gear 6, but part of me is like, I don't really want more of that, because I don't want a full open. I don't want wherever they were going with Gears 5, I want no parts of it. Wherever they're going with E-Day, now that's Gears of War to me. Like, I want more of that.
With whatever Gears 5 brought to the table, how come you think E-Day is going to be a completely, like, just like a different jump in a different direction? What if, like, with the writing that they have in 4 and 5, what makes you think that in E-Day, Marcus isn't going to save Dom and he's like, it's okay, Dom. We're just cogs in a machine.
No,
you're
No, dude, you're like, fucking right about that. You're fucking right. I'm totally with you. I am totally with you.
I think if you're scared of like the coalition making Gears of War 6 or just like anything beyond this point other than just like Locust stuff, then you shouldn't probably want them to even go back to like E-Day and stuff, because they might mess it up the same way they're messing up the story in the future stuff.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I absolutely will say that I am concerned about. There's things I'm concerned about with E-Day. I'm very hopeful of if they get the tone right, the setting. It looks like they're going to. The writing. I mean, we haven't even heard them talk. I mean, we haven't heard shit. But what I'm saying is where we were going with 5 and where we were, like where it was headed was like. I would not. I don't want to see. Like I certainly don't want to see it right now. Like I want to see where they're going with E-Day. But you're right from the perspective of, yeah, the dialogue could be terrible. Like it could be absolute ass. I mean, I
Like
don't
it's
know.
it's not even just the dialogue. I feel like I feel like a lot of fans, that definitely not everybody, and to some extent it's different with everybody. Um, I feel like with a good chunk of people, that like just because it's Marcus means that like it's good. Like I hear some people say like Gears of War 4 wasn't good until Marcus showed up. Gears of War 5, my only favorite scenes are when Marcus is there. Or like JD's my favorite character. I saved JD. Why did you save JD in Gears 5? Because he's Marcus's son. Like I feel like people are so attached like to Marcus that you put Marcus on anything and like they'll automatically just think it's already better than the stuff that doesn't have Marcus on it. Um, so it's like E-Day could come out and still like be technically like a flop in like the storytelling perspective and everything like that. But just because it's Marcus on it, people will be more inclined to enjoy it just because it's like Marcus and Dom and Locust.
I
And
mean, I
I
don't
really don't want that for the series.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that though. I mean, because
I 100% agree with that. Like I think like, I've seen it. I've seen it.
well, what I'm saying is that like I think that at least for me, when I saw Marcus, yeah, it's cool. It's cool nostalgia. Like I'm talking Gears of War 4, Gears 5, but that wasn't what made the game better. Or, like it wasn't like a make or break for me. Like the game, like Gears 5, just in general, in terms of the campaign, I did not think was that good from from the dialogue to everything. I mean, that even includes Marcus. Like Marcus, yes, he is the main guy within like Gears of War's history. So yeah, the people are going to be attached to him, but like I think the issue is the tone, the setting, like where the coalition was going wrong, and I think Rod Ferguson was going wrong, was we were going into this like very bright, very like lots of colors, like, oh, we want to show off Unreal Engine and like what we can do and stuff, this semi-open world. And like it has all these vibrant colors and it looked great, but it's not a Gears of War tone. It's not a Gears of War setting. It's like I look at it and I'm like, bro, is this it just there were things about it that just felt to me that we were moving closer to like a Fortnite, like a not even really even Call of Duty, but like it just felt that there was this, we want Gears of War to cater to everyone. So, like we don't, not that they were like toning down like the gore and stuff like that, but it felt like to me, they were trying to, even though it's like this is the mature game of our time, it just felt like in ways they wanted to like tone certain things down to potentially broaden the like the different like types of people that are playing it, whether they're younger, older, like whatever. And that to me feels like some of the things that they were doing in like Call of Duty. And so I don't know. Like I didn't like where they were headed with Gears
That
5.
that's true, but if you really think about it, Gears 5 is the only game that the Coalition has produced. And really like the only piece of media that the Coalition's produced that is like that. Gears of War 4, Reloaded Ultimate Edition, Tactics. Um, I guess Gears Pop is kind of like an outlier just because that's like a like one of those pop games. The books, the comics, like all of those have sort of like a somber little undertone with them. Like the only thing that really doesn't do that all too much in like Gears of War 4, obviously is the beginning with the robots, and then like some of the dialogue. But if you really think about it and like look at the stuff in Gears of War 4, well, where are you going through? You're going through museums. You're going through different eras of Sarah's history that have been caught up not only in the Pendulum Wars, the Locust Wars, but are now reaching to the modern day with the Swarm having all these tendrils all over the place. You have father and son debacles, where like they're distant from each other, but they still really love each other. You have you have Kate and her mom, how they're a lot closer, which shows like the a yin to the yang of Marcus and JD, stuff this and that. And Dell doesn't get a lot of, like anything, but within his lore, the only family he has is JD. So they are like practically literally brothers. So it's like there's still like these tones. The enemies are still vicious. It takes place at night. Like you have a lot of these like small corridors. You're being stalked in a lot of cases. Tactics. It's really gritty. It's really like deep into the Locust War. You have Karn, or not Karn. Ukon coming out, breaking people's necks. You have emulsion flowing through veins. You have executions. You have this and that. It's a completely different tone than Gears 5. Gears 5 is like a really big like step in a really weird direction for Gears. But if you really think about it, out of TC's entire record, that's really the only game that steps in that direction. So if you were to look at the directions, and Tactics came out after Gears 5. So it's like if you really want to look at their record and make like a grand assumption of how Gears E-Day is going to go, or the future of the series is going to go, I would put my money on like a grittier tone or a more somber tone than what Gears 5 was. If I were to like put money on it and use their previous stuff to make an assumption.
For what Gear 6 would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because like Gears 5 was really weird.
You might be right about that. You like that very well could be, it could be darker, especially if she goes dark. Like, I mean, or something. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting nonetheless. Extra Father, do you have any last things on that?
Where did we start? Like I was just listening.
Why Gears 5 is the best in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, just going from E-Day to Gear 6, or like how the coalition should handle the future of Gears if and when Gears of War E-Day does really good, like commercially. You know what I'm saying?
So let's say E-Day succeeds and it's got longevity, it's got things in place to keep people playing and keep people interested. If the game succeeds, I mean, I don't think either way we're going to see a Gears 6 for a long time. A long time, because I think they know in the back of their heads that it's just not a great concept, and there's not very good ways to do anything remotely gritty with the campaign after Gears 5, unless they did something like
I'd like to argue against that after you're done with that.
If they did something along the lines of Kate being the bad person all of a sudden, or Mira takes a hold of her and possesses her or something, I just don't see Gears 6 happening and succeeding. I don't know what else to say about it.
I think, do you guys think, really quick, that there was, because when Rod Ferguson said, after Gears 5, there's going to be Gear 6 and Gear 7, do you think that there was...
He probably thought Gears 5 was going to be great.
Well, yeah, but do you think that there was a game plan after 7? Like,
No.
Like, do you think, like, where would they go from 7? Because obviously they gave, they have JD then to Kate, and obviously we were going down this road of like Kate's story. And then at the end of it, it's like, well, to me, I was almost like, what's going to happen after, you know what I mean? Like, Kate's story's over. Like, where it's just, I mean, I know that the universe is, I think it's pretty vast within Gears of War. I mean, certainly, but I just wonder if there was like this idea, like, I don't know if there was a, like almost like an end game or something. I don't know, because he specifically said 6 and 7. Like, he confirmed that there was going to be a 6 and 7. Like, it was almost like a Gears trilogy that he was kind of doing. It was kind of like a sequel trilogy in Star Wars or something. Like, I don't know. It's very, very, it's just different. But I'm almost wondering if it's kind of like that. Crisp, you had something that you wanted to add?
Yeah. Well, just to get on your thing real quick too. I think it's fine for series to end. So if it ended with Gears 7, like I'd be fine with that. Um, but like onto what Extra Father was saying, where it's like there's not really much room in the series to go like kind of more like traditional Gears or something like that. Um, I think the Swarm, they're realistically with like how the cog is right now with like the Swarm War. The Swarm are kind of like terrifying in some aspects. Like they don't show it a lot in the games. Well, they show it a bit more in Gears of War 5, but they don't really explain why it's happening. So it makes you think about it like a little bit less, I guess. Um, the Swarm as like a hive, they're like walking EMPs. The swarm in the books are constantly like messing with like audio frequencies or radio frequencies and messing with the electronics and stuff like that. In Gears of War 4, you see them hijack Jin's bot. In Gears of War 5, you see them literally take over electronics. Um, I feel like and already you get the sight of like these zombie robots that are like taken control over by the swarm in Gears of War 5. And those moments in Gears of War 5, they're usually complemented by like destruction and stuff like that. But I could easily see the swarm becoming a lot more of a technological threat in Gears of War 5 or Gears of War 6 or 7, to the point where it's like it can turn itself into some sort of like a horror game. And then even further than that, if you want to take it even more steps further than that, um Gears of War 5, it had some scenes, uh primarily with the hive mind, with Kate in the hive mind at the beginning of the game when she's messing with the matriarch. Those scenes were visually stunning, visually beautiful, and visually kind of horrifying in some ways. And it was a lot more sci-fi than we're used to in Gears. Gears isn't like a space sci-fi. It's like a weird fusion of like ground, gritty, cave sci-fi stuff. I don't exactly know how to describe it. It seems more like a oh I don't know many sci-fi properties outside of like space ones. I know when I played Gears 3, it reminded me of like a Mad Max type of thing. Looking back on it, it's like it's sort of like a Mad Max type of thing, a whole bunch of impromptu shit. Um, I don't think Mad Max is really like sci-fi or nothing like that. But that's what like it reminded me of, where it's like not your traditional sci-fi. It's like a dark fantasy, the grim dark type of feel. Um, so it's
Gears is
like
about monsters, though.
yeah, and what better monsters than one that controls your technology, ones that are all tentacles and tendrils, ones that break through everything, ones that are literally around every corner, creepy crawly, slithery. What's more monster than that?
We never see a swarm do anything to humans.
That no, like that's the thing. That is true. But what do we see the swarm do just like mainly like to Kate? We see like the destruction of the swarm, and we can like in Gears of War 5, we see like the internals of the swarm and how like they affect Kate and stuff like that. So we see the destruction, how they affect you internally. In Gears of War 6, if they were to make it, they could make it like a good mixture of the two. They would need like a new writer, new director on board, and everything like that. Um, but if they had the people there, um, if they had the people there to work on it, that like it would feel a lot more space alien sci-fi, but like and it would feel a bit less Gears, but it would still hit a tone on the mark with like the horrors of it, the horrors that can be. It's like a cosmic horror, well I guess not cosmic horror, but like an alien horror type of deal, because like the Locust, they're scary and stuff like that. They're despicable beings. They torture for fun, torture for information. They do like all this stuff. They're willing to kill their own just to get like an extra step up and stuff like that. Like at the end of the day, they're living species. Like the cog did it as well. Um, but it's like at the end of the day, I feel like the swarm with how they're like the tendrils and stuff like that are depicted, that could fit a lot more into like slithery, creepy horror than the Locust did if they play their cards right. Because what do the Locusts have other than like wretches? They had like drones, they had broomox, they had reavers, they had a lot of stuff that kind of like broke in and crumbled and were really scary. Um, and like Swarm has that too, but if they play their cards right, especially since they barely added any Locust to Gears of War 5 or any Swarm to Gears of War 5, Gears of War 6 can go further into the creepy crawlies. And with like the tendrils and like the nasties. And it'll feel a bit different than Gears of War, but Gears of War's been feeling different. And I think it's fine to make the Swarm a separate threat than the Locust, because the Swarm are different than the Scions. So you could have the brute force of the Scions, but you could have the creepy crawlies of the Swarm. I think that's perfectly fine. It's fine for a series to kind of move in different directions. Like people are like scared of it and stuff like that because they're losing the tone of like Gears of War 1 and stuff. But like Gears has to grow. Gears has to like, and if you want Gears to be scary, I think Gears can be scary with the Swarm. Like I think they
Gears
can.
will never extend and never go past Gears of War 3. Ever.
What do you mean
Ever.
it'll never extend beyond that?
We will never have another success like Gears of War 3.
Oh yeah, probably not. But if that's the case, let's just stop making Gears.
I don't know.
You know?
I might disagree with that. Let's just wait for E-Day. Like, because the thing is, dude, is if E-Day's good or it's great, it's gonna be the biggest Gears ever. You know, like I'm saying if it's good and it comes to PlayStation Day 1. I was gonna ask you guys this really quick before we wrap this thing up. Guys, we've been going on for almost 3 hours. Dude, you guys are fucking awesome.
I could go for 2 more.
Oh, dude, 100%. Extra Father, is Gears of War E-Day coming to PlayStation Day 1 like Reloaded did?
Of course it is.
Okay. What do you think, Crisp?
Yeah, most likely.
I talked to Shadows and he said he does not believe it is. And he said that he doesn't believe it's coming Day 1 because he thinks it's going to come later to PlayStation. And I'm like, bro.
Why?
Why? Because like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why would it not
That's
come
where
to
most of the player base is going to come from.
What?
That's where most of the player base is going to come from.
A lot, yeah. I mean, I just don't know why it wouldn't come Day 1 to PlayStation. But see, this gets back to one of the things I was concerned about. I told you this, Extra Father. The thing that concerned me was a great opportunity for Gears of War E-Day would have been for it to be shown at the State of Play. Because if you're coming to PlayStation, what better way than to show it off at the State of Play in front of all the PlayStation community? But they didn't do that. And it's like, so obviously I get a little bit concerned. Then I see what PlayStation does where they're not going to release games on Steam anymore. And then Xbox, there was a guy who mentioned, who tweeted at Asha Sharma, the new CEO of Xbox. And he said that games like Fable, Gears, and Halo need to stay exclusives to Xbox because Xbox was built on these exclusives. And she said, hear you. So now, I don't think that has any bearing on what's going to happen with E-Day because it's been in development for a while. But now I kind of am wondering, are the console wars coming back again? Because I thought that we somewhat had a little bit of a truce here where Helldivers 2 comes to Xbox, and then, you know, PlayStation gets Gears of War. But now I'm starting to wonder now, like, is it going to come Day 1 to PlayStation?
No, Xbox lost that console war years
ago.
Yeah,
I mean, of course.
Xbox lost the console war, and I think the truce is all in your head because think about all the massive PlayStation exclusives that we don't have, and think about all the like Xbox exclusives, the fucking 3 or 4 of them that like PlayStation doesn't have. I feel like everything that Xbox players would want, we're never getting. And in all the stuff that PlayStation players would want from Xbox, they have. Like that war was lost, and there's not really been a truce because Microsoft, I don't think, cares about games anymore.
No.
Well, I don't know because I mean, obviously, PlayStation gave us Helldivers, right? So it was like, okay, we give you Gears, you guys give us Helldivers. I mean, what's to say that like I'm not
It
saying
ain't
that
God
the
of War.
Yeah, but think about that. We're giving them Gears and Halo, but what are they giving us? There's no Ghost of Tsushima. There's no Bloodborne. There's no God of War. We can't even get a Gao for Gao. Like,
well,
like
yeah, okay, all right.
like
No,
we're not getting nothing.
I'm with you, but we got Death Stranding, which I never thought was coming, and it's on Xbox Game Pass, and it was a
Never even
PlayStation
been
exclusive.
interested in that one.
Well, I'm just saying, like it's not
I feel like
just
that's one that they were willing to give up.
yeah, no, but what I'm saying, I'm not like I'm not
yeah,
disagreeing.
dude.
I'm not disagreeing. Like I think PlayStation strategy may be a little bit different, where maybe Xbox gives their our exclusives to PlayStation immediately, whereas PlayStation maybe takes a little more time. Like I think that the new
7 years too long right now, man.
well, I would
7
say
years too long right now.
I'm just saying that we did get Death Stranding. And I think I mean, I don't know if we're going to get Intergalactic and we're going to get like the new God of War or, I'm not sure. But I just think that, yes, we're giving way more than we're receiving. That is very clear. But I guess when I start hearing comments from Asha Sharma, the new CEO, that, that she's hearing the community talking about exclusivity, which I think is the worst thing that could possibly happen to E-Day, is if it ended up staying to Xbox. But I don't think that's, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen because E-Day has been in development for, I believe, a while now. And with it being in development, it's certainly focused on the Xbox consoles, but I think they've had PlayStation in mind probably from the beginning. And so I do think that it's going to release on PlayStation, but now my question is it going to release on day one? And that's where I'm getting a little bit worried when I start seeing some of the things that are happening right now. Because I mean, I obviously Reloaded did, but it's guys, we could go on for forever talking about this shit. And everybody who's in the chat, I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining us for this episode of the Gears Cast. This was the longest Gears Cast that I've ever done. It was awesome chopping it up with the boys, man. Like just fucking talking about shit. And guys, look, there's going to be things that we agree on as creators, as streamers, as just a Gears of War community. There's going to be things that we disagree on. But it's important that we have these open conversations because in ways, having these conversations keeps things that maybe not everybody in the community is really thinking about, and they start thinking, oh my God, I never even really thought of that, or I thought of this. And it just keeps the creative juices flowing within the community. I think it's really important. But with that being said, Extra Father, how can people find you, brother?
Well, basically just on YouTube. I don't really use anything else as far as content or anything like that.
Yeah,
just Extra Father on YouTube.
And guys, both of their links are in the description down below. So you guys should definitely check out both Extra Father and Crisp on YouTube. You guys have any last things that you guys want to say to the chat or whatever? Crisp, we can start with you, bro.
Gears of War 4 is low-key an 8 out of 10 if you don't believe me. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to you.
Gears of War 4 is awesome, man. And hey, I
also
really
in all mainline games is top 3. Okay. Yep.
What?
The top 3. Come on, bro.
In all the mainline Gears of War games, top 3. I'll say it. Yep.
Gears of War 4 is a top 3 for you.
In all the mainline Gears games, yeah.
Ooh, man. Wait, so who are you knocking? Oh, we're not even going to go there. We'll go there some other time, dude, but I would love to know what you're knocking.
I'm willing just to say it flat out, no conversation if we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I know. We're wrapping it up. Some other time though, I definitely want to hear that. But Extra Father, you got anything last things that you want to say to the chat or whatever before we get off here?
Gears of War E-Day is the single most important Gears of War game of all time. And if it fails, we're fucked. We're done. So, yeah.
It's all
Everyone
in.
embrace.
All in on E-Day, man. For sure. I agree. It is a pivotal game, guys, in the Gears of War series. Franchise has been through a lot. The community's been through a ton of shit together. But we're getting closer to E-Day coming out every single day, guys, that goes by. And I'm really excited that you guys have all been along on the journey with us, and we're just getting started, man. I'm really excited about it, and we'll have more and more shows to go as we go along here, guys. Make sure that you check out Extra Father and Crisp. Their links will be in the description down below. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of the Gears Cast, and if you guys did, make sure that you leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Stay positive. Just keep grinding. And as always, I will see you guys